Mike Missanelli. Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Welcome. Mike Missanelli Show on the air. Cohorts are here. We're ready to roll, and there's a lot of issues we need to talk about today. Well, I need to call out Eagle fans. I need to get them on the record today with my zero concerns about the Philadelphia Eagles. As you know, I've been floating in air over the Eagles over the last several days because of what I saw on Sunday and how they dispatched a pretty good Pittsburgh Steelers team. And then I related back to how they dispatched a pretty good Ravens team. And I go, this team is without question the best team in the NFC. And I would be wholly disappointed if they didn't get to the Super Bowl. In fact, that would be one of the biggest devastations in Philadelphia sports history for me. They'll be right in there. Top 5, maybe. But there are people out there who are afraid and who don't trust. So I want to engage the folks today. Eagle fans, this is like we want to put you on the couch today. I have zero concern with this team. But I know the fan base still has concerns. I mean, it goes without saying that this fan base really expects the worst to happen. I have been trying to dispel that for many years. I've been very unsuccessful in doing so. But today, maybe we can talk about it. Maybe we can crack that seal that prevents you from getting to the other side, from getting through the abyss, to the portal. I need to get you on the record and you voice your concerns. Now, I'm not telling you that your concerns are illegitimate. If you can make a good case to be concerned, then we'll talk about it and we'll talk you through it. I would love to find something. Believe me when I tell you that I'm great at finding little cracks. And I look at this team and I go, I can't find the crack. I'm sorry. I can't find a crack. I try to measure this team against the other teams, against the teams that maybe would challenge them to get to the big game in the NFC, and I can't find anything. And to me, it would take a monster upset, a monster fluke for a lesser team to beat this Eagle team. And I'm even including the Detroit Lions in that because the Detroit Lions are not the same Lions. Had the Detroit Lions been at full strength, maybe I would have a different perspective on this thing. But for me, they're not on the same level anymore. And I'm not buying the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not buying the Green Bay Packers. And I'm not buying the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or all these teams I believe that are lesser than the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't know what could possibly happen in an NFC title game. No matter where it is, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and say it would be in Detroit or say it would be in Minnesota. And I can't see anything that would prevent the Eagles from getting to the big game. Now, you say, okay, turnovers. Well, the Eagles don't turn the ball over anymore. The quarterback doesn't turn the ball over anymore. You say, well, maybe they can get bashed on defense. No, nobody's going to bash this team on defense. The special team, I don't know, a 100-yard kickoff return is going to break the game open? Maybe. That's a fluke. But on an even playing field, there's nowhere that any team can match or overpower the Eagles to prevent them from winning the NFC. That's a bold statement. And I know people out there, Mike, you're jinxing them. I'm just telling you what it is, okay? I'm being as honest as possible with you. If that scares you, well, I apologize. But if it scares you, I need you now to tell me why it scares you, why you would be concerned. What area would you be concerned about with the Philadelphia Eagles not getting to the Super Bowl? What are your fears? Bring them out to the surface. Let them bubble to the top. And we'll deal with them. We'll scrape it off the top. And maybe by the end of our conversation, you'll feel a little better. I know there are people out there that are concerned. Don't lie to me. Nobody's out there saying, no, I've got 100% agree with Mike. How many of the 50% of the fan base may agree with me. There's another 50% that are always scared that something bad will happen. But there's a difference between thinking something bad will happen and a concern of yours. All right? So that's two different things. If you want to think and go into the old Philadelphia mindset that the sky can fall on them, all right, knock yourself out. But I want a legitimate concern on why you think that would happen. Is that clear enough? Bill Colarulo's with me. Ray Dunn's with me. Is that clear enough for the people, Bill?
I think it's very clear. And look, I read all the comments underneath of our Instagram videos, our Twitter posts, all that stuff. And I could probably spew right now 10 different concerns that I have heard from Eagles fans over the last couple of weeks, even though they just dominated the Steelers game, even though they've won 12 games in a row. 10 games in a row. I know there are fans out there that have these concerns, but let me dispel one right now that I have had. I was saying a couple of weeks ago that one of my major concerns was if this team continues to win and they don't get the first round bye, that would mean they would have to win 17 straight games to win the Super Bowl.
You have been very nervous about that concept.
I was nervous about having to win 17 straight games to win the Super Bowl. I am no longer nervous, and here's why. Losing a game can sometimes force you to look inward and you refocus your team going forward. That happened already. Even though the Philadelphia Eagles didn't lose to the Carolina Panthers, they played a bad game. From all accounts, it was one of their worst games of the season during this winning streak. Then there was all the drama that ensued after with AJ and Jalen and all the stuff that Brandon Graham said. That week, to me, even though it wasn't a loss in the standings, it did the same thing that a loss would do. It forced them to look inward. It forced the Philadelphia Eagles to focus on an area that we all felt could be a weakness, the passing game, and they're better because of it. So I no longer look at it as 17 straight wins because that Carolina Panthers week, that was like a loss week. That was like a week that you look inward after a loss. So that's a concern that I am dispelling now. But maybe people don't agree with that. Maybe people have the same concern I used to have. But, Mike, there's a lot of them, man. There's like 10 things that I could say right now.
All right, just give me another one. Like, what could possibly be people be concerned about? People say this to me all the time. Well, Mike, you said the same thing about the Phillies. I get all kinds of feedback. You said, don't worry about the Phillies. Well, the Phillies were a good team, right? What influences baseball that doesn't influence football? It's whether you can hit or not. All right? There are times when you see really good baseball teams just fall apart at the plate because one at-bat leads to another bad at-bat, and then you lose your confidence and you lose your perspective, and it's more the pitcher influencing the hitter. In football, that does not happen. If you are sound in every area, like a fluke would have to happen. In baseball, it's not a fluke that good pitching would beat good hitting. But in football, a fluke would have to. You would have to play totally out of character if you're the better team, measured against the other teams. So let's measure it. The Eagles are inherently better than any other team that's going to be in this conference. So what can happen? What, a hot pitcher is going to shut you out? Like it doesn't work that way.
There are other things. Now look, this is
what are they?
All right, this is me playing devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Nick Sirianni for a second. I am not worried about him. But people who watched him under a very close eye in the New Orleans Saints game, in the Jacksonville Jaguars game, watched him make decisions that we all left scratching our heads saying, what the hell is Nick doing? Now, thankfully, since the Jaguars game, there hasn't really been any in-game decisions that Nick Sirianni had to make where it could go either way. Maybe the punt instead of going for a field goal where they pinned the team. It was at the Ravens game where they pinned him deep. But I guarantee you there are still people out there who maybe are concerned that Sirianni makes a boneheaded decision in the playoffs that would lose him. I'm not worried about that. That's something Dan Campbell will do. That's not something Nick Sirianni will do in the playoffs. But that's one.
Hell yeah.
The other thing is, and again, playing devil's advocate, not saying I feel this way, the passing game still ranks 28th. We saw Jalen Hurts play one good game against the Steelers, and all of us left saying, passing game's fixed. Well, was it just one game? Can we say that it's fixed after just one game?
Listen, you look at that number and you put too much emphasis on it. What we have to look at is whether he can succeed and make big plays and make big throws. And he can. And I don't care what that number says. With the one bad game I write off is against Carolina. I know what the mindset is of that team going in to play Carolina. I don't have that fear anymore with Jalen Hurts. He's not going to dazzle me. I put him in perspective, but he's going to make enough plays to win games.
I'm with you. I'm on board. I think Jalen showed me enough.
That's a fake concern.
I'm reading the Instagram comments that we get under our videos, and there are people saying to me, "Why are you saying Jalen Hurts is fixed already? It was one game, and all he did was dink and dunk down the field."
What does fixed mean? Like, before people get to the concept of being fixed, you got to go, he's broken. Has he ever been a broken quarterback? I mean, he hasn't dazzled, but he hasn't been a broken quarterback.
He hasn't been a broken quarterback except for against Todd Bowles' defense.
Oh, here we go.
So are people concerned about Tampa?
With Tampa Bay. All right, we're going to talk about this. I'm serious. I need the Eagle fans to get out of their womb here and tell me what these concerns are. We're going to address them. And if you have concern, if your concern is legit, and to you it is legit, we'll talk through it. 610-632-0975. I have a pragmatic view of all this. If they lose, I'll go, well, so I can't explain it, because going in there, they were the best team possible. And if they lose, it'll be a fluke, and then I'll deal with it. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Can you feel it?
It's 10:17 on the Mike Missanelli Show. On today's show, ESPN Commanders reporter John Keim. Now, we've had John on before. Let me just mention a little something. There is this computer that ESPN uses that projects. Right? That was the ESPN, right?
That was.
And the projection of this ESPN computer, projecting the rest of the regular season, the playoff games, and the Super Bowl, has the Eagles losing 2 games from now until the end of the year, including this week to the Commanders. This is the computer model that somehow is projecting this. I don't really understand the data that goes into it, but it has the Eagles losing 2 straight games, in fact. 1 to the Commanders and 1 to the Cowboys, of all teams. I don't know. This computer's got to be cockeyed. But in any event, that means the Detroit Lions would get the number 1 seed in this projection. Your thoughts, Bill?
Well, they have them only scoring 10 points against the Cowboys in Week 18.
Yeah.
So that in of itself makes it hard to believe. And then they have them losing what? In the NFC Championship game in Detroit is, I think, where this goes.
Correct.
I think just like every other media member, the computer is anti-Philadelphia. Right, Ray? That's a little tongue-in-cheek. I'm just kidding around. But I don't know what data they put in here that would make this. Could you imagine if the Eagles lose 2 straight to the Commanders and the Cowboys?
Yeah.
I can't see that happen.
No. I mean, come on. Can they lose to the Commanders? I guess. Can they lose to the Cowboys? No. Come on. That quarterback's going to beat them?
Look.
Stop it.
I agree. The chance of the Eagles losing any of the next 3, to me, would be slim. But it is hard to sweep your division. And I think I asked this question last week and someone answered it. When was the last time they swept the NFC East? I think it's been a few years. They didn't do it in 22 when they went to the Super Bowl.
Did they sweep the Cowboys in the last couple of years? In any event, we're talking about
sweep the NFC East.
Different team. We're talking about the most, in my view, the most or the second most complete team in football. Yeah. They're going to lose to the Cowboys?
No. The one that, to me, that would be the most likely that they could lose would be Week 18 against the Giants if the Lions win their next 2 and the Vikings win their next 2.
The Eagles lay down?
It won't matter.
Yeah, so they'll lay down.
Because the Vikings and Lions play each other.
Nate Sudfeld will be the quarterback.
And then it comes back to
bring him back.
Does Saquon Barkley play in that game if he's within reach? Now, he needs to average, I think, 139 yards a game in the next 3. He fell off pace because of the 65 yards last week against the Steelers. But if he has a big game this week and a big game next week, and Week 18 doesn't matter, now we're back to, does he play to try to beat Eric Dickerson?
Do you remember what the main reason why the Eagles kept Nate Sudfeld around?
No, I don't remember why.
He was buddy-buddy with Carson.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, they were always on the bench together looking over the pad. They were buddy-buddy.
Hold on.
The security blanket, Nate.
And he helped them blow the game against the, what was it? They lost to the Giants or the Commanders?
It was the Giants.
No, the Giants were mad about it.
Commanders, because the Giants were livid.
The Giants didn't get in because of that. And by the way, speaking of when was the last time, Mike Mulhern just tweeted at me that the Eagles have not swept the NFC East since 2004.
Really?
So it's not an easy thing to do. And they've had really good teams in the last 20 years.
That's a faulty stat.
Why?
Because all those teams haven't been as good as this one.
2022 was a great football team.
Fluke.
2017, they won the Super Bowl.
2022 and 2017 as good as this team?
I looked at the rosters yesterday. No, I don't think so. I think this may be the best team I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that's nothing.
This is a good football team, man.
All right. 610-632-0975. Let's start out by going to the phones here. And Dom in Port Richmond is checking in. Dom, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, buddy?
What up, Mike? Welcome back, man.
How you doing?
Good show out here, man.
Thank you, pal.
I'm good. So, really, I don't have no concerns. The only thing that might concern me is, the fact that we couldn't beat the Bucs over and over again. Now, don't make it just about the Bucs, but, teams who try to copy that approach, it's a copycat league, that is the only thing that really I feel concerns me. There's also things to work on and you can get better at, but that is the only thing that might concern me. Like,
all right, let me ask you this: when the Bucks stopped them, did they have Saquon Barkley?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think we played them this year, but we did.
No, you played them. We played them this year. There was just injuries. You didn't have AJ, Devontae, or Lane.
Yeah.
Saquon
Barkley gives this
right.
team another complete dimension. So if we look back to last year, it doesn't count. The year previous doesn't count. This year they were banged up when they lost to Tampa Bay.
I'm with you, Mike.
Yeah, I just can't see it, man.
That would be the only thing that concerns me.
Yeah, see, that insults. I got to be honest with you, Dom. That insults me.
Why so?
It insults me that you think that Tampa Bay could be a factor against this team right now.
Nah, you actually
come on, Dom.
Concerns? There might be that would be it.
All right, I got you. I know. Eagle fans get the least little thing they want to grab one. You sound scared, Dom. You sound scared.
I'm not scared at all. I got all the confidence, but that would be the one thing, man. I haven't, All
right, let's write these down because we want to dispel these ones. All right, so it's the Tampa Bay factor is one of the concerns. It's the 17 in a row is one of the concerns. What else, Bill?
That
do we have?
Concern me.
That doesn't concern you. All right, what else? Other than Tampa Bay, does anything else concern you?
Nah, that would be, and I don't even think they concern me because I don't think they can beat us all
right, so you're
now with our approach. But they did beat us.
Okay,
and they have had the track record of beating us.
So your concern is that Todd Bowles' defense would confuse the quarterback of the Eagles.
If we don't continue to run the ball against them, yeah, they could. They've done it already, All
right, listen, that's legit, Dom. I appreciate it. That's why we need to talk it through. So there you go. Tampa Bay factor plus Todd Bowles versus Jalen Hurts is one of the concerns.
Yeah, look, I know you're just dismissing it.
No, I'm not. I'm writing it down.
Well, because you go back to 2022, they lost in the wild card to the Bucks. January 16th, 2022. And then last year, January 15th, 2024, lost in the wild card to the Bucks.
I love the way you always go back in time to make a point.
Because
you ignore what they are now.
But both times, it was Jalen Hurts versus Todd Bowles. And I know where you're going with it. And I'm just playing devil's advocate. It's going to be Saquon Barkley's the difference this year.
They're a better overall team.
But go back to last year. Same receivers. Pretty much the same offensive line outside of you replaced Kelsey with Juergens. You replaced your right guard, which was Cam Juergens, with Mekhi Becton. The big difference is Saquon at running back. Because last year, DeAndre Swift in that wild card matchup, 10 carries, 34 yards. I'm thinking if you give Saquon 10 carries, he's going to have more than 34
They
yards.
were a mess last year when they played Tampa Bay. They were a mess. It's not even the same plane that we're evaluating here. You're evaluating a team that was a mess and somehow translating it to it could happen to this team.
Jalen does struggle against Todd Bowles. Whatever
Jalen
Todd Bowles does.
Sometimes against a lot of teams, but they win because he'll make a play or two.
I'm trying to look at some of his stats.
Hold on.
He doesn't have great numbers against Todd Bowles.
The music. You hear the music?
I hear it.
Hold on to that thought. I get a little itchy. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. All right, first concern, the Tampa Bay factor. More of your concerns after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Prepping for Prepping for Washington. That's more what my voice sounds like. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Popeyes. It's football season in Philly, so you got to have some grub. Popeyes has just the John for any fan of the Birds. We're talking wings, baby. So fly to Popeyes, fly and fill up on wings in 7 delicious flavors. The Eagles are getting set for their second matchup with the Washington Commanders of the season this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Last month, the Birds dispatched the Commanders 26-18 at Lincoln Financial Field. If they grab another win over the Commanders, the Eagles will lock up another division title. Nick Sirianni told the media on Wednesday that he's not yet talking about that one with his team.
No, I know we're pretty boring. We're getting ready to go play this game. We know that if we do win this game, that will happen, but all we can focus on is our preparation. We haven't really talked about that. We'll talk about that after we're able to put the hat on or the T-shirt on there, so that's when we'll talk about that.
We'll continue to look towards this game. We talked to ESPN Commanders reporter John Keim coming up at 12:30. Elsewhere, Flyers lost 6-4 to the Red Wings last night in Detroit. They fall in that one. 76ers off again tonight, back in action tomorrow night against the Charlotte Hornets, looking to beat the Hornets for the 4th time this season when they play tomorrow night. This update's also brought to you by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety. Did you know that driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal? Drive high, get a DUI. A message from the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
Text or the phone call, 610 632-0975. Let me add another layer to our discussion where we started off saying we want to list your concerns. So far, we have the 17 in a row. We have the Tampa Bay factor. We have the Jalen Hurts versus Todd Bowles factor. All right, so that's two different Tampa Bay factors. So basically, we have three concerns right now and still counting. Bill, you want to add another one for us, please?
Well, there was another one that I said to start the show, and you know I don't feel this way. But I still think people think Nick Sirianni may be a factor. That he may make a decision in the playoffs that is a bad decision in game.
Even now, even through the change of Sirianni, where he has turned from goof to stoic head coach.
Well, because one of the things, and I said this after the Jaguars game, after the Saints game, when he made some head-scratching decisions, one of the things I always loved about Sirianni is I felt like he always made the right in-game decision in years past. And then this year you didn't see it so much. Now, has he fully changed, or have there not just been an opportunity to make a decision that people would question? Because you look at some of these games down this winning stretch since the Jags, I think maybe the only one you could debate would have been the punt against the Ravens where they pinned him deep. I think that was the Ravens game, right, Ray? Was that the Ravens game where they pinned them deep on the punt?
Wasn't it the Panthers? Because we had seen the Elliott misses.
Maybe it was the Panthers game. You're right. It was the Panthers game. I mean, outside of that decision, there haven't been a lot. And you know I don't feel this way. I've been one of Sirianni's biggest defenders, but I do think that maybe some of the fan base isn't fully bought in yet that Nick Sirianni's going to make all the right decisions come playoff.
All right, so Sirianni is a factor. Let me get down another avenue here, because this is the newsiest item we have to discuss today. And it involves Jalen Hurts, who yesterday came out and refuted the report that Brandon Graham and Big Dom had visited Jalen at his home to urge him to be more forthcoming and outgoing and engaging with his teammates for the benefit of the team. Brandon Graham tweeted out lies, LOL. I don't know why he put an LOL out there. He's going to go lies. And Jalen Hurts yesterday refuted it, said it did not happen. Now, let's take this apart here. Jay Glazer is usually plugged in through his musclehead gym connections.
Is that where his connections come from?
Yes, he runs a gym, and a lot of athletes get through there, and he hears a lot of stuff, and so he's plugged into the gymnasium connection, which is probably where he would have gotten that, right, from somebody who is in that musclehead community who plays football.
Yeah, and it's interesting that none of the local reporters had this. Glazer had it.
Yes.
And Glazer's also the guy, if you remember, was the only one to report that the Eagles demoted Sean Desai last year and promoted Matt Patricia to calling the defensive plays. That came from Glazer. So he's tied in somehow.
Yeah, he's tied into the player thing, community thing, because of the workout thing.
I got you.
All right. So, he's a musclehead. They're musclehead. They respect him because he's a musclehead and doesn't talk out of turn of all the stuff he has. But he will break some news every now and then. So first of all, let's say, is this true, do you think? And if it wasn't true, why would the Eagles cover it up by sending Jalen out to talk about it?
So my understanding, and at this point, it's really a non-story because it happened so many weeks ago.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that the meeting did occur. That is my understanding from people I've spoken to. The meeting did occur. But at this point of the season, when you're on a 10-game winning streak and everything is all sunshine and rainbows down there, they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want this to come out because it is a bad look for Jalen. It doesn't look great if he needed Brandon Graham to go, and it doesn't look good for Brandon Graham that he would be involved again in controversy.
To the Eagles, maybe this doesn't look good. To the fans, I think I couldn't care less. Like if it was something that would help the team, why would I be concerned that this took place?
Well, I think the reason it would be a bad look, if it came out...
For a fan, why would it be a bad look for a fan?
If it came out a few weeks... If it came out when it happened, I think it would have been a bad look because there were a lot of stories last year from different sources that the Eagles organization wanted Jalen to be a better leader. There were a lot of sources and stories, one of them from Tim McManus and Jeremy Fowler, that broke at the start of training camp that Jalen needed to work on some things, that he changed a little bit after the contract, that he tends to shut people out sometimes when he gets frustrated. And I think the reason it could look bad is if, even through the first 4 weeks of this season, he needed to be reminded, hey, you want to connect a little bit more with your teammates, because that was the whole point of what he was being told last year and in the offseason. But right now, nobody cares because they're winning 10 in a row. Everything seems great. They just went through a week of drama, and they bounced back appearing stronger than they were even before. So that's why it's a non-story now, but I don't think it's necessarily a great look on Jalen Hurts if this came out when it happened. You understand what I'm saying here?
Listen, if I'm the Eagles, I think it's a bad look for them because they go, well, we have a coaching staff here. We have all the resources, but that should have been taken care of by us. That's what makes them look bad. But to a fan, it's like the smart people, if it's something that's going to make the team better, I wouldn't care, nor would a smart fan care. It's like, let me take it back to The Sopranos. If therapy made Tony Soprano a better mob boss,
he still would have got whacked.
No.
If they found out.
But the smart people in the mob, if that was going to make him a better mob boss, are accepting of that. The smartest people who are accepting of that, Carmine. Remember, Carmine said to him, there's no stigmata to that.
Yeah.
He meant stigma, but he said stigmata.
Yes.
Right? Because he understood. They're going to make you a better person, makes you a better mob boss, and makes your people happier. You know what I'm saying?
I do, and I believe stigmata was a general knowledge question a few weeks ago that Ray got incorrect.
Yeah, it was.
Did you get that correct?
But Carmine, who was a smart guy and the whole thing, understood the value of it. So what I'm saying is a fan would understand the value of that. Maybe the Eagles wouldn't.
They understand the value of it because this is a 12-2 football team, and Jalen just came off of one of the best games we've seen him play this season. I think if this would have come out during the bye when the meeting happened, and they were 2-2, coming off of a bad game in Tampa, I'm not sure the fans would have reacted that way. I think a lot of the fans would have been like, really? Wasn't this what we heard they were working on all summer?
Well, but we have to measure it in real time. So in real time, it looks like that helped.
It did.
So why would a fan be concerned about it? So why would the Eagles be jumpy about something like that? So in other words, they sent Jalen out to address that, saying it didn't happen. They wanted people to know that it didn't happen. And I go, why? What's the big deal? You're better for it.
They are, but it's not a great look for your franchise quarterback.
Right. What's your perspective on this, Ray?
I mean, non-story was what I think Bill said.
Yeah.
And, all right, even if this comes out during the bye week, things were not all rosy during the bye week. We were talking about the fact that Sirianni and Hurts were basically in couples therapy for 2 weeks trying to get themselves right and get this team right.
Right.
It seems like it's worked. It worked for him. They've won how many games in a row now at this point?
So why do you think the Eagles would send Hurts out to address that?
I think they don't want to see last week's talking points bleed into this week. At this point, I think the Eagles are like, please, God, don't let Brandon Graham's name be dragged through the mud one more time this week. And please, God, we just had the Hurts, so that's what you want to see, right? I thought we put all that to bed. I think from a PR standpoint, I think they're doing a little too much here, where they're like, we just got to cover ourselves here. Honestly, my answer to that would be, hey, that was in the past. That was a long time ago. We've grown as a team since then. That would have been my message. My message would have been, hey, he's a liar.
All right. So they want to make it a point that this didn't happen, which is really interesting to me. Let me take it a step further with Jalen Hurts to see if people agree with this assessment. I've tried to work on this psychologically. He's absolutely a weirdo. Okay, he is absolutely a robotic human being.
That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
Yeah, and he even yesterday, Ray, rolled out another layer of keep the main thing the main thing. It was what he said yesterday. But in a lot of ways, now if you look at his track record, I believe that everybody who plays under him also thinks he's a weirdo. But there is some kind of mystique to a weirdo. Like the mystique is this mystery man has all the answers. He is so weird that he has all the answers. And thereby, there's a certain confidence that players who play with him have, because he's the stoic man with all the answers, the mystery man. Like, how many times do human beings react that way to a mystery man who is so stoic and weird that we go, his message must ring true? Am I right or am I wrong?
And not always for the good. I mean, there's been a lot of weird cult leaders that got people to follow him, too.
But the fact that they follow him is the key point. Like, there's some kind of mystique that makes people follow somebody like that.
Yeah, and I think you saw it at Alabama when he was young, and then being able to move to Oklahoma and getting that team to rally behind him. So you're right, there must be something about him. But on the flip side of that, there must also be something about that, you say weirdness or just, him being a little bit different, that makes the franchise continuously remind him, you got to be better at connecting with your teammates. Because you heard that story last year, and now you're hearing it again this year. So there's something that is maybe different about his personality, where it's like, look, you're a good leader, but at the same time, you got to connect on a personal level.
Maybe it's because that's the only thing they know. Maybe they don't understand that the mystique man needs to operate that way, and he can't go to the other side and be unlike what he is, which is to be engaging and to bond with his teammates. Like, he knows one methodology of leadership, which is the Zen master part.
And now, I heard this from some people who were down there. The person that we see of Jalen is, he's very guarded in his responses. He does have these weird anecdotes that he hits you with.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
He went down to CHOP to visit some kids a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I heard that as soon as he walked into that hospital and saw the kids, he was a different person. Like, big personality, friendly, laughing, connecting with the kids. So is this the image that we see? Is that the real Jalen Hurts?
He's been taught that football is an ultra serious thing.
Yeah, his dad was a coach.
Right.
So I think this may be an image that's maybe not who he is off the field. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't really matter what he is off the field. What matters is what he is on the field and how he can lead.
And he's a robot.
Yes.
On the field, he's a robot.
And the robot thing is so different that it may work more than the regular thing.
So let's think back of quarterbacks who have won Super Bowls. Have any of them been like Jalen?
No. No.
In recent memory, I can't think of it.
Montana was aloof, but he was more like a kind of a football dummy. He was a simple-minded.
Well, there's that famous story of Montana in the Super Bowl saying, "Hey, is that John Candy?"
Yeah,
right before the middle of a big drive.
Yeah, he was, but he wasn't. He didn't have a Jalen. You almost want to play eerie music around him, like when it's like when they should introduce when he comes to the podium. Ooh, they should play like The Outer Limits or something like the Twilight Zone theme. Like, that's the weirdness that he gives off to me anyway.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of athletes. I've never seen anybody like this dude.
But you're right in when you say, is it so different that people want to follow it? Because you can't argue with the fact, and Sirianni has said this, a lot of people have said this, the kid wins everywhere he goes. He won at Alabama. He won at Oklahoma. He's done nothing but win here in Philadelphia. So I guess he's doing something right. He's doing something right to get guys who want to play with him.
Most of the leaders that are stoic like this are a con. Jalen Hurts is like so involved with football that his weirdness comes off as leadership. If that makes any sense. I'm curious to know how people feel about that. In any event, he has now been moved up to number 8 in the quarterback rankings.
Yeah, now this ties into
by ESPN ranking from
The Athletic.
The Athletic. From a low of 18 this year, he is now 8,
which is a good sign. However, now this ties in with the concerns about the Tampa Bay Bucks and maybe some other teams in the NFC. Did you see the 3 quarterbacks that are ranked above Jalen Hurts?
One of them being Baker Mayfield.
The other one being Jordan Love, and the other one being Jared Goff. So according to The Athletic, they have 3 quarterbacks in the NFC ranked above Jalen Hurts, and the Eagles may have to beat at least 2 of them on their way to the Super Bowl.
Do they have to beat 2 of them, or they have to beat the teams that they both play for? And in that, well, if you look at the other rankings, you go the Eagles' power rankings. What are they? 1? So like, this holds less clout to me than the actual team ranking, which makes them one. What, is a quarterback single-handedly going to beat him because they're ranked ahead of Jalen Hurts? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, but now it brings it back to a question I asked last week, and some people came at me on social media for it, saying, are wins a quarterback stat? Because we just said about Jalen, all he does is win.
Listen, a quarterback has to be an important part of that win, and in most teams has to be the most important part of that win. But when you talk about the Eagles, if he's ranked 28th, then obviously the team is a lot better than the quarterback's, ranking.
What do you think, though? I'm saying, look, they got these guys ranked above him. Do you think Baker Mayfield should be ranked above Jalen Hurts? I still...
They're looking at numbers and metrics and stuff like that. No, that doesn't mean anything to me. Really.
Now, Ray would definitely put Jordan Love.
Yeah, Ray loves Jordan Love.
He probably put Jordan Love 1.
He has love for love. But, again, I think Ray is smart enough to figure out that just because they rank those guys ahead of Jalen Hurts, that doesn't mean that those teams are better.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, let me ask you something, Mike, because you're very dismissive of the Bucs, right?
Totally dismissive of them.
All right.
This year, forget about it. There's no way that team can play with the Eagles.
Are there any teams in the NFC that even concern you a little bit? Even a little bit?
No.
You see, I can't get there because the Packers, the Lions, I think, are all banged up. I think that the Lions, they peaked too soon, too many injuries. I'm not concerned about the Eagles beating the Lions. The Packers and the Vikings, though, I don't want to just ignore those two teams. The Vikings, I know they haven't played many teams, but they are 12-2.
The best I can do here from my own brain is to evaluate what I think a team is. And if the circumstances down the road change that, then I'll have to live with that. I can't con myself into thinking that the Eagles are not the best team in the NFC, and therefore, why would I then con myself into thinking that the Vikings or the Packers can beat them? Why would I have that worry?
Well, you would agree they could beat them. You're not saying it's likely, but they could.
I'm talking about what should happen here. Of course, everybody could beat somebody, but I don't believe that those teams will cause me any worry if I've got the best team. If I've got the Army with the most troops and the best equipment, I guess a stray cannonball can slay me. But other than that, I'm confident when I take into war.
Of all those teams, the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings, the Bucs, the team that I would say concerns me the most, and I don't think you should just dismiss, is the Green Bay Packers. Because it's not only because of Jordan Love, it's not only because they have a top 8 defense in terms of points against. They got a great coach, man. Matt LaFleur is a great coach. He's a great offensive mind. I think the Eagles would be favored in that game, especially because it'll be in Philadelphia. But I'm not going in that game saying there's no way that the Eagles could lose to the Packers. That's the team that has me the most concerned, would be the Green Bay Packers.
That insults me. That totally insults me.
Ray, are you
that
with me?
Statement totally insults me.
Of all the teams, that's the team.
Oh, my God. You're both such lily-livered weasels right now.
What the hell's a lily liver?
I'll look it up.
I never heard
We
that
got a break
before.
coming up. You can look it up then.
Look it up.
Have you heard that before, Ray?
No, I'm going to look it up too.
Hey, before we go to the break, though, I think, did you mention it yet about
What?
Ray on the call?
Ray called the Temple's 2000th victory last night.
That's right. And ESPN's Instagram put it out there.
Do we have the broadcast? Can we play the last couple seconds today?
I think we can. Coming back.
Ray probably has that on. He's giving it out on the street on a CD. He's got a little table.
Apparently, when you go to his Hinge dating profile now, it's just that playing.
We'll get to that in a second. Congratulations, Ray. A big historic call by Ray, our own.
Congrats to Temple.
Ray Dunn, and congrats to Temple on their 2000th victory. Yeah. What's the Ray? It's 2000 and what? What's the?
It's a winning record.
The overall record.
Before
Is
you
it a
start
winning
doing
record?
Yeah, it's a
Is
winning
it?
record. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I see the owl without a vowel passed away.
He did. Yeah. Very sad.
A legendary owl without a vowel, Bill Milkvey.
The owl without a vowel.
54 straight points scored by him.
Yeah. He was
Is that good?
That's
the
pretty good.
first legendary Temple basketball player, and his name was spelled MLKVY, the owl without a vowel. Get it?
I do get it.
All right.
And played one season in the NBA. Only played home games because he was going to dental school.
How about that?
Different world.
It was a different world.
Yep.
610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Repping for Washington, the Eagles again. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services. Got a leaky pipe, having issues with your heat at Ace Hardware Home Services. They're around the block with everything you need to fix it. They've got the pros to keep your home humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services. Eagles getting set for their second matchup with the Washington Commanders this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Last month, the Birds dispatched the Commanders 26-18 at Lincoln Financial Field. If they grab another win over them, Eagles will lock up another division title. Nick Sirianni told the media on Wednesday he's not yet talking about that one with the team.
No, I know we're pretty boring. We're getting ready to go play this game. We know that if we do win this game, that will happen, but all we can focus on is our preparation. We haven't really talked about that. We'll talk about that after we're able to put the hat on or the T-shirt on there, so that's when we'll talk about it.
Speaking of preparation, we'll prepare you for the Eagles-Commanders game on Sunday with the ESPN Commanders reporter John Keim coming up at 12:30. Elsewhere, Flyers lost 6-4 to the Red Wings last night in Detroit. Back at home tonight against the Los Angeles Kings at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And the 76ers still not in action tonight. Back in action tomorrow night against the Hornets again. I'm Ray Dunn in the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
By Grungo Law, that's your law firm when you need help because of an injury. You can pray for peace, but prepare for trial. GrungoLaw.com. Window Nation brought us the 10 o'clock hour where we opened all kinds of cans for you. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. No down payment, no payments, and no interest for 12 full months at Window Nation. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Online. All right, so we're talking about what are your concerns for the Eagles. I don't have any concerns. I know I'm annoying people because everybody says, well, you said the same thing for the Phillies. You don't have any concerns. Well, baseball has a little bit more of intangibles that can prevent you from winning than football does. If you're the best team, top to bottom, in every area than anybody else in the NFC, and you play straight football, no matter where the game is, in my view, you should win the game. That's the comfort I take with me. Now, if it doesn't happen, I will deal with it then because there will be a reason that it doesn't happen. But if we're putting it on a level playing field right now, I don't have any concerns. But I know there are people that do have concerns. My partners have concerns. That's because they're lily-livered weasels.
I still don't know what it means.
Don't worry about it. It just means it's weak. There's a weakness in y'all. That's what I'm trying to say. Because you've been engulfed by the something bad can happen thing.
Yeah, weak and cowardly. Right, he's calling us weak and cowardly. That's the definition of lily-livered.
I know the weak really gets to you. You've worked your whole life not to be called weak.
Yeah. Can you imagine being weak and eating a protein bar every day, Ray?
That's tough.
Yeah. The crazy thing is,
it's a protein bar, and he's like a lily-livered weasel. I can't believe it. Protein powder, shakes, the whole bit.
Look, I agree
Do anything for your toughness.
that this is the best team in the NFC on paper. But to say that you don't have any concerns, that there's no chance they don't go to the Super Bowl, we've seen this story before, and not just in Philadelphia. This isn't a Negadelphia approach. I mean, since they instituted only one team getting the bye back in 2020, only one seed has won the Super Bowl. Only one. So to your point that in football it's different, the best teams will win, that doesn't always play out. Then how come only one seed has won a Super Bowl, and it was the Chiefs against the Eagles in 2022?
Like I say, I'll deal with that if I get to it. Right now, I am not going to let myself be engulfed by woe. You like feeling the woe. Ray's feeling a little bit of the woe. I don't feel the woe right now. No woe.
I can't get there. I'm look, it's Super Bowl or bust for me. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're not going to be the favorite. But I can't book my hotel at the art museum for the parade like some people are already doing.
Dude, I'm not even talking parade. I'm not going. You hear me saying they're going to win the whole thing?
You're saying they're just going to go.
I'm saying I'm talking about the NFC. The concerns are that they won't get to the Super Bowl somehow. All right? I'm talking about winning the NFC. I sit here and I would be allowing weakness to defeat me by saying, I don't know if they could beat Tampa Bay. I don't know if they could beat Green Bay. Seriously, does that make any sense? How could I look at myself in the mirror and say that right now?
It's not that you're saying that I don't know if they're going to beat Tampa Bay.
You're saying?
But you can't just guarantee a win against Tampa Bay.
It's not about guaranteeing a win. It's about the feeling of going into this unknown, right? You go into the unknown. If you're well equipped for the unknown, you feel confident. Now, once you get to the unknown, if something happens, you can't do anything about that. I'm talking about the journey into the unknown.
I'm going to give you another concern that I have.
We got four so far. Here they are. The Tampa Bay factor, the Jalen Hurts factor versus Todd Bowles, the 17 in a row factor, and the Sirianni that's going to do something dumb factor.
Here it is.
Yeah. I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
There you go.
Who would you say is the best player on the defensive side of the football?
Who's the best player on the defensive side of the football? It would be Zach Bond.
Oh, wow. I didn't think you were going there.
And Jalen Carter.
All right, Jalen Carter. That was the answer I thought you were going to say.
Okay.
But Zach Bond, I think he's top 3 in Pro Bowl votes or something crazy, which he deserves. All right, here's my concern. Last season, the only defensive tackle to play more than 600 snaps was Fletcher Cox. He played 684, okay? Jalen Carter played 563 last year. Do you know how many snaps Jalen Carter has already played this season? 722. There's still 3 games left in this season. This guy has played 84% of the snaps, which is almost unheard of at the D tackle position. So another concern, does Jalen Carter hit a wall?
Jalen Carter will be worn out, is your concern.
It's possible.
And what I say to that is, do the Eagles have a staff? Do they have a medical staff that's always gauging snap counts and all that kind of stuff? Have they so far said, this guy can handle it? Look at him. He's a beast. We have no indication that we're wearing him out. They have people that measure that, correct?
Right. They do, but again, comparing it to Fletcher Cox, 2022, Fletcher Cox, the team that goes to the Super Bowl, regular season, 713 snaps all season. Carter's already passed it.
What does Fletcher Cox have to do with Jalen Carter? They're two different human beings.
Because you need Jalen Carter. It all starts with him up front. And I'm not saying he will hit a wall, but when we look at the team, and today is a day of let's try to get past any concerns that we have, a concern is, does Jalen Carter hit a wall with this amount of usage? That is a real concern that I have with this team. Because I think it all starts with Jalen Carter. If he doesn't dominate at the line of scrimmage, the ripple effect throughout the defense. Zach Baughn's not as good. N'Kobe Dean's not as good. Your secondary's not as good.
What are we talking about? Joel Embiid here? You want to put him on a minutes restriction? Well, he so far can handle it. Learn to live with that instead of saying, well, I don't know about this. What's wrong with you?
Hey, you're asking for concerns. I'm giving them to you.
All right.
Ray, any concerns about Jalen Carter playing too much?
Not one that at this point, I think we would have already started to see the fall off.
See, but this is why now let's bring it back to me concerned about the 17 straight games. And I said I'm not concerned because the Carolina Panthers game was a reset like a loss would be. But if they don't get the bye and they still have to play the Week 18 game, you're not getting that rest. So I almost would love, if they're not going to get the 1 seed, I hope they find out before Week 18 because it would be nice to be able to rest these guys in Week 18. Because if not, if you play the next 3 and you got to win the next 3, then you got to go and you got to win 3 playoff games before you even get to the Super Bowl. Yes, the overusage concerns me.
All right, we got 5 meaningless worries.
Meaningless.
From the Lily Livers.
Ray.
So let's go.
I got Phillies, man. I got Phillies memories, nightmares in my head.
The phones. Greg, is this Greg from Bethlehem? And now he's saying Lehigh Valley, so we won't flag him because he's been bagged down on Mad Elves. Is that this?
No, I don't think this is.
No, it's a different Greg.
Different phone number.
A different Greg from Lehigh Valley. What's up, Greg?
What's up, Mike? Happy holidays to you.
How you doing?
Ray? Good, man. Good. I am not Greg from Bethlehem.
Okay, there is a Greg from Lehigh Valley and a Greg from Bethlehem.
We could already tell by the energy and the lack of slurring your words.
Okay, guys. Well, I have the tiniest concern, and it's just because the defense has been playing excellent, lights out. But I do have a concern with playing any team in the playoffs or if we get to the Super Bowl when the lights are brightest. With the lack of scoring in the first quarter this season, since the bye, basically. More so the fact that if a team that we play gets out to a 17, 21-point lead in the first quarter, will we have the overall, gumption to come back and win that game?
All right, let me a legit concern, but let me dispel it. How'd they look against the Steelers in the first quarter last week?
They look great.
They did.
Well, they did turn the ball over twice.
Yeah, but they
did, but the defense showed up, to quell any, additional points outside of that field.
I get it, but the Steelers had pretty good defense too. So
they do.
The Eagles found a scheme that worked, even though they did turn the ball over a couple times. One on special teams, but they found a scheme that worked. So the lack of scoring in the first quarter, is that still an issue?
I would say it is just because it's a small sample size.
Okay.
And I get it was a big time game, going against a good Steelers team. It's just, I think, again, it's a teeny tiny concern
how about
of
they
mine.
scored 10 points in the first quarter against the Commanders this Sunday?
I would feel a lot better
Okay.
because there's a little more consistency to that,
All right.
you know?
All right, legit concern. Lack of scoring in the first quarter. The other team might pile up some points, and to that I
Right.
even refute because I go, this is the number one defense in the league. How's that other team
Correct.
going to pile up some points? You know,
Right, exactly,
Like,
exactly.
in every avenue I go down here, I can dispel what your concern is.
Yes, and I appreciate you dispelling it because, like I said, it's a very teeny tiny concern, but it is still, on my
Okay.
radar.
All right. See, this is the thing, and I know Lehigh Valley is not the same as the Negadelphia, but it's close. Like I think we try to figure out ways to squash our happiness. I think we do that, Greg. Right? And I think
I understand.
listen, I get it. I understand it. I've been trying to fight against it. Lack of first quarter scoring. Legitimate, Bill? Legitimate concern?
Well, I think it has to be because until the Steelers game, they were being outscored 56-17 in the first quarter. And to Greg's point, small sample size, one game, 10-3 against the Steelers.
Lack of scoring in the first quarter. The other side of it is, can the other team score against the defense to pile up points? Concern?
In the first quarter,
Yeah.
you mean? Well, they've given up.
Are you so worried about this defense giving up points they'd be behind, and their lack of scoring in the first quarter would hurt them?
Yes, that is a major concern.
Really?
I think it
Against
has to
this
be.
defense, you think another team's going to pile up more points?
So far this season,
I get it.
they've given up 59 first quarter points. They've only scored 20.
Not the question I asked you. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Now, the top sports.
At 12:30, Commanders reporter John Keim. The projection by the computer, ESPN, says the Eagles will lose to the Commanders this Sunday, and also feels the Eagles will lose to the Dallas Cowboys the following week, which makes the Detroit Lions the number 1 seed in the NFC. I don't know what they're feeding this computer, but if the Eagles lose, then the prediction is they'll lose 17-10 to the Cowboys. I don't know. I'll eat a Cowboy Star cookie on the air.
Now it's a cookie. You tweeted out during the Steelers game.
I would eat a terrible towel.
Yeah, and part of me almost started rooting for the Steelers. Yeah, I wanted to see
but
it.
That was the impossibility. The Steelers had to score 2 touchdowns. They were down 2 touchdowns. I said, if the Steelers scored 2 touchdowns against this defense with that offense, I'll legitimately eat a terrible towel on the air. All right, I'll eat a Dallas Star insignia, like an iron-on decal or with something. 17-10. They're going to lose to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
seriously?
They're going to score more than 10. I may eat it with you. 10 points. When was the last time the Eagles only had 10 points? That hasn't happened all season, right?
No, it hasn't happened. It's ridiculous. Computer.
What did they do against Tampa in week 4?
16 points.
Yeah, they're
I think
not.
the lowest total is 15 in the win over the Saints.
15 and 16. Since the bye, 20, 28, 37, 28, 34, 26, 37, 24, 22, 27.
Well,
where's this computer getting this information?
Computer, you got a glitch, that computer. All right, the factors that people are concerned about. List of concerns. The Tampa Bay factor. Somehow the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have this jinx over the Eagles, so the people are concerned. The fact that the Eagles would need 17 in a row, very hard to do. Jalen Hurts versus Todd Bowles. Bowles has had pretty good success against Jalen Hurts. The Sirianni factor that somewhere along the line, even though he hasn't done anything dumb in a really long time, the Sirianni will somehow do something dumb, and that's a concern to people. Jalen Carter will be worn out. That's Bill's concern, and the lack of scoring in the first quarter. That's 6 concerns so far. It's an hour, not even an hour and a half into the show.
Well, there's a 7th on our YouTube chat.
Oh, there's a 7th? What is the 7th on the YouTube chat?
That Bill's worried that the team has an E. coli breakout in the lunchroom at the NovaCare complex and the players get sick.
The NovaCare
That's a good
food.
one, yeah.
Bill will probably come up with that one a little later in the show.
Yeah, that was the 12 o'clock hour.
They're feeding them gruel in that lunchroom. No good.
No, I've been in that lunchroom. They got a good lunchroom down at NovaCare. They got a nice lunchroom at the NovaCare complex.
610-632-0975. Let's go back to the phones. Jerry L. checking in. My buddy Jerry. What's up, Jerry?
Michael, how are you?
How you doing? Buon Natale.
Yes, big time. I never spell that correctly, though, when I send it. But and how about congratulations to Ray Ray on the Brooke Houston the
2000 Temple win. We're going to play the final call coming up soon.
Yeah, he did a great job, Jerry.
Yes, Ray Ray. There you go. Michael, in regards to the Birds, 2 words. They're the only concerns I have left. At Mahomes.
Well, that's a Super Bowl, though.
Yeah, but that's where you're going. You're going to be there.
Well, yeah, hopefully we'll be there. We haven't been told that yet. Hopefully we'll be there at the Super Bowl. Listen, whatever happens in the Super Bowl happens. The only disappointment that I would carry to an extent is this: if they didn't win the NFC, because I can't understand how anybody could beat them in the NFC right now.
Yes, now that Detroit's nicked up enough, I think they this Sunday was a real nice indicator for how good they actually are.
In the Super Bowl, listen, Super Bowl, evenly matched teams, Jerry. Anything can happen. So if the Bills or the Chiefs win, whatever. But if they lose to any of these NFC teams, it would be a colossal disappointment.
Yeah, oh yeah, no doubt about it. They should be out of the or they should be able to get out of the NFC. Then you just got to deal with that guy who, regardless of what his team's like, what injuries are like, whatever it is, just finds a way.
Yeah, I get it. And Josh Allen's the same way. Josh Allen will bust you up with one of those crazy 35-yard runs where he sticks a stiff arm in you and rolls over you. Gets it. That can happen and make the Eagles lose. But what in this conference, what's going to happen? Tell me.
They can be the. It's kind of funny. The only team I think that has a little bit of juju on them is Tampa Bay, but I think they could get through them because they're a lot better than they were early.
Yeah,
I think they beat everybody else. But one thing before I go, the guy who saved this week and saved this team was that immense guy who's the defensive line coach who stood in front of Nick not to let him get to Jalen Carter. Because Carter was in one of those modes where when those big guys get cooking, just leave him alone. And he was dying to go over and do a little something, and the big boy got his way. He saved our sanity.
Clint Hurt.
Yeah.
Clint Hurt, the hero, the savior.
He is a big dude, Clint Hurt, isn't he? But that's a great point by Jerry, because I do think that Jalen Carter was seeing red. He may have thrown a punch or something. You never know.
And he would have been suspended.
So maybe the season did get saved. But what hasn't been shown a lot, and someone tweeted at me a couple days ago this image, after that, Carter and Sirianni did hug on the sidelines.
They hugged it out.
Yeah, so that was a good look.
Yeah.
But Clint Hurt probably stopped the tragedy from occurring.
Yeah.
Who are you taking in that fight, Sirianni or Carter?
I don't know.
Dog mentality.
Sirianni may get all his brothers, his Mount Union teammates. They might have to fight 10 of them.
Sirianni reminds me of the guy who just doesn't stop, just keeps coming.
Yeah, he's one of those irritating guys.
Yeah.
Everybody on the team probably wanted to kick his ass. All right, 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Repping for Washington, I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Wawa Holiday Gift Cards. In addition to Wawa gift cards, Wawa also sells Amazon, Apple, Uber, Visa gift cards, and more. Available in festive holiday designs, too. Everybody loves a Wawa gift card. The Eagles getting set for their second matchup with the Washington Commanders this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Last month, the Eagles dispatched the Commanders 26-18 at Lincoln Financial Field. If they grab another win over Washington, the Eagles will lock up another division title. Nick Sirianni told the media on Wednesday he's not yet talking about that one with his team.
No, I know we're pretty boring. We're getting ready to go play this game. We know that if we do win this game, that will happen, but all we can focus on is our preparation. We haven't really talked about that. We'll talk about that after we're able to put the hat on or the T-shirt on there, so that's when we'll talk about that.
In terms of preparation, we're going to continue to get you prepared for this game against the Commanders by talking to ESPN Commanders reporter John Keim coming up at 12:30. Elsewhere, the Flyers lost 6-4 to the Red Wings last night in Detroit. They're back at home tonight against the Los Angeles Kings at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. 76ers off again tonight. They're back in action tomorrow night against the Hornets again. This update's also brought to you by Discover. Discover wants everyone to feel special. That's why double all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card. I'm Ray Dunn, the home, the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
8:32, Mike Missanelli Show. We're talking about the factors that would make people scared about the Philadelphia Eagles advancing to the Super Bowl. And this is a good exercise. This gets everybody's concerns out. I, of course, have no concerns whatsoever. And that puts me at risk of people saying, see, Mike, I told you, you should have been worried like us. And I go, well, what would worrying have done for me? Like, I judge everything on its merits. You know, like, I'm the type of guy who appreciates a good team, and that's what I expect from everybody. I respect when you maximize your team to be a championship type of team. I don't respect the organizations that cross their fingers to try to be a championship team. I don't waste my energy on that. And we can look at the teams in this town that fall into that category that are crossing their fingers rather than building a team that goes, boom. Yeah, that's the team that can win a championship. And this is the way I feel about the Eagles.
And when you worry, you suffer twice. Because if you're worried about it and then it happens, it's going to hurt. If you don't worry about it and it happens, it's going to hurt. But at least it only hurts once. So maybe we shouldn't worry.
I'll bitch and moan with the best of them when I feel a team isn't doing the proper things to build to a championship contender. And you've heard me over the years bitch and moan.
But this team is not that. I mean, they don't have weaknesses.
They've satisfied everything that I could have ever wanted, right? And so for me to manufacture some kind of a concern, I don't know. It just seems odd when you manufacture concerns.
I want. There's something I've been wanting to ask you, and this could take us down a different path, but I don't want to get too far off. Before the season, and even at the start of the season, we were talking about my favorite head coach, Nick Sirianni. And you were saying that they have to get to the NFC Championship game for him to be brought back next year, right? That it would be such a massive disappointment if they lost a home game.
No, they would probably bring it back.
Right? That's what I was going to ask. You think now he's done enough?
Yeah, they wouldn't. If they lost in the playoffs somewhere along the line, you're talking about losing in the first game they play?
Like, God forbid, they're in the wild card round and they get upset at home in the wild card round. I still think he's probably done enough to come back at this point, like because they're 12-2.
I think there would be a groundswell of fans that would want him gone. I don't think the Eagles would respond that way.
Yeah. So your opinion's changed a lot of this guy.
Well, look where they are.
Yeah, it's hard not to be on
really,
board.
I mean, would I look like an idiot if I could still complain about Sirianni?
But there are still people out there, and that's why I listed them as one of the concerns that people have. I still think people are hesitant to trust them. There's a lot more people coming around, but that's one of the concerns when we're looking for the fan base. Hey, what concerns you have? Right. I think that's one of them.
Let me put it this way. It's not that I exactly trust them. It's that I no longer don't trust them.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like he has won me over to the point where I go, we got Vince Lombardi in town. But he like, to me,
I'm the smartest coach in the world.
Right.
Well, we were talking about that story that broke about Jalen Hurts and if Brandon Graham and Big Dom had to go to his house during the bye. Mm-hmm. When we talk about the head coach, after the bye, and he did what he did in that Cleveland Browns game, he has changed. He is not the same guy that you saw jawing at the fans.
Changed. Yeah. And we saw it really quickly. Like he wasn't like it took him how many, Ray? How many weeks did it take him to drop a Mount Union reference or a brother reference?
And they almost drew it out of him too. They asked a leading question about it.
That's a great question.
Yeah, none of that frivolous stuff came through anymore after that week.
And he looks calmer on the sidelines. I know there was that little issue with Jalen Carter, but I don't know. Maybe before the bye, he's not listening to Clint Hurt. Maybe Sirianni does go over to him.
That's the next step. He gets to the point where he doesn't do that thing he did with Jalen Carter. Because that was stupid for a head coach.
I still think he should have addressed it.
Not Bill Belichick. He's Nick Sirianni. He still has that rep. It looks bad. It embarrasses the player. It's no way to build trust in the player. You do it out of sight.
But to bring it around, I do think it says a lot about how these players feel about Nick that a couple minutes later, him and Jalen are hugging it out on the sidelines. Jalen Carter, that is. These players seem to like him, and that's something I've always heard. Even during the collapse last year, it seems like these players do like the head coach. And that's why
there's one thing that shapes players liking a head coach.
Winning.
Yes.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
All right, let's go to the text board.
That's right, Ray. Just like Temple basketball, Ray. 2,000 of them.
Yeah. Okay, let's hear that. Now, before we go to the text board, I want to hear Ray. He's broadcasting the Temple game. Who'd they beat last night?
Davidson.
Oh, that's a good win for him. Davidson's a solid NCAA tournament squad.
8-2 to start the season.
There you go.
I've beaten Providence and
big
Charlotte.
win for the Owls. So the 2000th college win for Temple was against Davidson. And so here is the final moments of the call by Ray Dunn on ESPN+.
Throws this one into Durkin to Cochera. Cochera across half court. Fire away from three. Off the mark. And number 2,000 for Temple comes in chaos for the Owls. Temple did not lead for much of this one, but all that matters is when 0 is on the clock and Temple escapes with a victory at home, 62-61.
Comes in chaos.
Yes.
For the Owls.
How about it from Ray Dunn?
And the final three off the mark.
Kept his composure and everything. He's good.
Nice job, Ray.
He's good.
All right, text board.
He cut it off too soon, though. Because then he said, I just want to give a big thank you to Mike Missanelli and Bill Colarulo.
Yeah.
Which would have made a lot of sense in that context.
Here's what he said. I know you guys hear me on the Mike Missanelli show, but pay no attention. That's the frivolous part of my life.
Yeah.
This is the serious part of my life.
Yeah, we're just your side jokes.
Right.
Stop it. That's not true.
Comes in chaos.
That's what I tell people about the 4 hours I spend every day here.
No, great call, Ray. Good job, though.
All right.
What did the text say about the Tampa Bay concern and Bill's concerns?
I need to start with Bill, the Tampa Bay concern, before we get to anyone else's concern. Gavin from Freehold. Ray, can you please tell that Walking Rogaine ad, Billy Sirianni, that last year against the Bucks, A.J. Brown was not playing. This year, they would have A.J. and Saquon. Eagles mop the floor with the Bucks in the playoffs this year if they match up. Book it.
Wait a second.
Walking Rogaine. That's below the belt.
Wait, what are people taking shots at me? I am trying to be the voice of the fan today. I have read the comments underneath our Twitter posts, our Instagram posts, and I'm saying there are people who are concerned about the Bucks. And yes, A.J. Brown didn't play in the Bucks game last year. I get it. But you also can't deny that Jalen has not had his best games against Todd Bowles. Is that because A.J. Brown wasn't there? Sure, you could make that argument. But you can't ignore that Jalen Hurts hasn't had a lot of success against Todd Bowles. Maybe it's different this year. Walking Rogaine ad.
That's a smash. But
I wish I had Rogaine. I have a shaved head.
Let's stay with this theme here because I want to know. Does your wife like the beard?
My wife likes me better with my hair and a clean face.
Because I get a lot of people coming up to me telling me.
Well, now
what's the story with your partner? I go, what do you mean? I go, what's that stupid beard? It makes him look Amish. Like, why is he keep? I don't know, but I want to do that right now on the air because I want to have people with.
Let me move the mic so that
what's the story with the beard and the shaved head? Does not work. The stubble with the shaved head would work for you. Now, why do you keep the beard? And I'm the only thing I was thinking that the wife likes it.
No, but the wife doesn't mind. I mean, she liked me better without it, but she doesn't mind the beard. Now, the people who hate it, Grandma Melly, who called yesterday, my mother.
What is your?
You're playing right into it.
What is your affection for the beard? This is what I'm trying to get to. Why wouldn't you go with the stubble look, which is a better?
I used to have the stubble.
Okay.
When I had the hair.
Well, what is it?
I used to have a very long beard. This isn't new. I did used to have this going back a few years ago. And I'll say, have you ever tried to grow a long beard?
No, I can't grow a beard.
Okay. Ray has. Now, Ray, maybe you'll stick up for me on this. There's something addicting about it. That once you start to grow it, it doesn't even matter that you look in the mirror and think, I look better without it. You start to, like, get addicted to trying to grow it. You want to see how full you can get it, how long you can get it. Ray, do you understand what I'm saying with that?
Yeah, man, when I was like 17, I felt that way.
Oh, man, you were doing it a couple of months ago, you liar.
That's not true. I was finding success with the beard, and that is what kept my beard around.
The people who love the beard do love the beard.
It's true.
Like, not all women like the beard, but the ones who do like the beards really like the beard.
I'm getting to you. What do you like about the beard?
Honestly, I can't answer it.
With the bald head and the beard, you kind of look like you're from Lancaster. I got to be honest with you. There's a buggy outside you're driving.
I will agree with you. I think I looked better hair and no beard.
Well, why don't you go stubble hair, stubble beard?
Well, the reason
that would be a better look than what you got going now.
The reason I shaved
people
the
are starting
head.
to notice. People are coming up to me. I go, what do you want from me? What's he think with the beard?
We're going to grow it.
I figured I would ask you.
We'll grow it until the Eagles lose, maybe. They haven't lost. So but I shaved the head. People on YouTube, people on my social media, they only saw me from the front. I had a little bald spot in the back of the head.
You did. But if you grow the thin, like the LeBron look, that's a stubble up top, and then you can match it with the stubble on the beard.
But I used to shave my head back in college. I had a beard a few years ago. I never had the bald head and the beard together, so I did it this time because I like being able to wear a hat. You take it off, doesn't matter. You take a shower, boom, you're out. But
he's never answering the question.
He's very good at dodging him.
He dodges the question. Like, what do you like about the beard?
I'm not sure, but my mom's on the line
Your
now.
mom's calling in
because
now.
she hates the damn beard. Look, she's calling in. You see what you guys did now? I got Denise on me now. You've heard from Grandma Melly. Wait till you hear Denise.
I have to say, before we get to this call, Mike, the day that Bill walked in with the shaved head was
startling.
Yeah, because I didn't tell anybody.
Startling, more concerning, honestly, for me. When he walked in, I was like, Bill, what in the world's going on?
It was terrorist level, frankly.
Well, people, see, if you're going to shave your head, you got to have facial hair.
You got a terrorist look now. You got an Amish/terrorist look. It's hard to blend those two looks.
Does it look that good?
But that's what you got.
Is there anybody out there who likes this thing? Can I get some support?
No, that's why I want to get some feedback on it. Because everybody that has come up to me, everybody, hey, I watched the new show. What's the story with your partner's look? And I go,
see, maybe that's what it is, Mike. They're talking about us.
What?
All publicity is good.
They're talking about how the radio guy looks.
Yes.
I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing for us.
Can we get my mom? Can we get my mom on real quick?
What's your mom's name?
Denise.
Denise, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine.
Good to talk to you, Denise. This is the first time I've had a chance to talk to you.
Yes.
For raising a good young man like Bill, I laud you.
Oh, my God, I love my son. He's the best, smartest. But there's one thing he's stupid about. He needs to shave that beard.
I say you got her all riled up now.
He needs to shave that beard. I've been telling him all along I'm going to buy him a straw hat and a pipe for Christmas and just call him Amish.
And he can build a windmill.
Yes. Because he's so good looking when he has his hair.
Her Billy is good looking.
I love you.
He's my love. You kidding? I love my son. But
I'm an only child, if you didn't guess.
yes, but he needs to shave the beard, or I like a very close beard.
Exactly,
with the
stubble look. He would look
that's
good with
what
the
Mike.
stubble look.
Mike wants the stubble.
Right, Denise? Come on.
I absolutely agree with Mike on that one. You need the stubble look and the bald head, or grow your hair back.
Denise,
and no beard.
Denise, is he going to be at your house for Christmas? He's going to be at your house for Christmas.
We're going to my Grandma Melly's for Christmas.
Oh, you're going to Grandma Melly's? Does Bill snooze, like after a meal?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you know what? Flip him something in his drink and just shave it.
Yeah, get the clippers going and make sure he's in a deep sleep.
Wait a second. Denise, aren't you at work right now? I'm calling Eric.
Yes, I'm at work, and Eric doesn't care. He knows.
Eric's her boss.
All right, Denise, listen.
No.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think this is what we do on the radio. We get public feedback.
Yes.
So, if we get enough public feedback, my man's got to, clip it.
I say you guys hold him down and just shave it off.
Well, I don't know. He's all muscled up.
Yeah.
He has protein shakes every day. I don't know if we...
All right.
Does.
All right,
he
Ma.
Does eat well. He does eat well. I will say that.
I will talk to you today, Mother. I appreciate you checking in.
No problem. I still love you, Bill. Just shave that beard.
I love you too.
There it is. Bill's mom checking in from work.
Yeah, shave my beard.
The people are talking about today.
They are. Well, you're really striking a nerve with her because she can't stand the beard. I get voicemails sometimes.
Listen, I'm just saying. I'm objectively looking at it and going, "What's the deal with that? What's that look?"
You're really not a fan. I like it, man. I don't know what it is. I am admitting I look better without it. But I like the beard. I don't know why. I can't give you an explanation.
A beard is fine. You got...
It's long. It's long.
That's not... You have a legit... Like, there are beards that work.
Mine doesn't work? Well, it's right here. I don't grow right here. I think that may be what throws you... It's like an Abe Lincoln look.
It is an Abe Lincoln look.
I went to Gettysburg. Right?
Oh, man.
There's more
We got text on the beard already.
Yeah, we do.
All right, what we got here?
All right. This is from Eddie in Annapolis. Hey, Bill, stop worrying about the Bucks and go build me a shed.
If I knew how to hammer a nail, it would work.
So we got a couple of people that are trying to defend you here. So this is, again, to the people that think I silenced the pro-Bill crowd. This is in favor of Bill. Guys, I shaved my head 3 years ago, and I have a beard. It just looks right. You cannot have a bald head with no facial hair.
Well, I'm not saying no facial hair. I'm not saying shave.
Mike just doesn't think it should be this long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your buddy Dom also. Listen, Dom has to be like your best friend in the world here. The way he stands up for you every time we come after
It's my guy, man.
Yeah. Mike, when you go bald, it's law that you grow a beard. It's in the bald guy handbook.
Yeah, but Mike's saying it should just be closer to my face. But I appreciate it, Dom.
How did Denise feel when her other son, Nick Sirianni, shaved his head?
No, he's the nephew.
Here's a text I just got from somebody from your club. Bill doesn't realize that every golfer in the club is laughing at him. No, that's just I made that one up.
Ron in Bed
Who's that
Salem.
coming from? Is that Jeff?
No, I made it up.
Oh, we got an accusation of jealousy from Ron in Bed Salem.
Mike wants to grow a beard. He can't.
I had to agree with Bill. When you have a bald head, you have to have a beard. This is coming from a man who's been bald for years but has a full beard. Most people that are jealous of the beard because they can't grow one.
I would love to grow a stubble beard. I can't get it going. I don't have enough to make it look like a stubble beard. Stubble beard is where it's at. That's where you go with
But
it.
that's probably where this is heading.
Yeah.
But I want to see how long I can get it. You know? I'll tell you, though, I'm getting killed.
I also think you have enough hair on top to the LeBron stubble. LeBron up top, stubble down on the chin.
Well, most people, when I shaved my head, asked why. They didn't realize that I had the bald spot. I just didn't like it. And I prefer a shaved head. I just think it's easier to deal with.
I got to admit, it's unsightly.
It's unsightly. Oh, my God.
I really want to know who took the photos of you that made you realize this. Because that's the real source of the problem here. Someone tipped you off to the bald spot.
No, you know what the final straw was? So I got married in June, and then we did the gender reveal a couple of months ago, whatever. The pictures and the videos from the wedding and the gender reveal, like who am I trying to fool here? Like, I just don't like that people. I think like people look at me, oh man, that poor guy doesn't know he's got a bald spot. Like, no, I know. That's why I'm shaving it off. I'm taking matters in my own hands.
How about if you just go with the clipper and just thin it a little? And then come in tomorrow, and then we'll evaluate it.
The beard? No, we're going long now. Now, out of spite, it's growing. To my mother, my grandmother, Mike, Ray, everybody out there,
Yeah,
we're
Andrew-
growing this thing long.
Andrew Salciunas, Bill and Nick texted each other beforehand to shave their heads together.
Yo, they're undefeated since Nick shaved his head.
Well, no. Nick's got that stubble head to match the beard. That's what I'm talking about. Why don't you just look like him?
I'm getting killed on YouTube right now. Bill looks like he's about to walk the Green Mile.
No, you know what it is? Every time I look at you, I think of a movie with Kelly McGillis and Harrison Ford. You all better watch them English. You know?
Bill looks like he's about to go to Russia and fight Drago. I enjoy Bill's relatives more than Bill.
Oh, that has nothing to do with the beard.
610.
It's actually a pretty good take.
632-0975. The Mike Missanelli Show continues. Don't forget, Commanders reporter John Keim. I'm going to ask him directly. Can the Commanders win this game? The computer says they're going to win it. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Repping for Washington, I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans exposed to toxins while serving at home or abroad may be eligible for VA care and disability payments. Apply now at choose.va.gov. Eagles get set for the second matchup with the Washington Commanders this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Last month, Birds dispatched the Commanders 26-18 at Lincoln Financial Field. If they grab another win over them, Eagles will lock up another division title. Nick Sirianni told the media on Wednesday he's not yet had that talk with his team.
No, I know we're pretty boring. We're getting ready to go play this game. We know that if we do win this game, that will happen, but all we can focus on is our preparation. We haven't really talked about that. You know, we'll talk about that after we're able to put the hat on or the T-shirt on there, so that's when we'll talk about that.
Speaking to preparation, we'll get you prepped for the game this Sunday with ESPN Commanders reporter John Keim. Join us at 12:30. Elsewhere, Flyers lost 6-4 to the Red Wings last night in Detroit. Back at home tonight against Los Angeles Kings at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. 76ers off again tonight. We're back in action tomorrow night again against the Hornets. I'm Ray Down in the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
12 o'clock hour is brought to us by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. It is noon. Happy noon, everybody. Happy lunchtime. And you know, at lunchtime on the Mike Missanelli Show, we do a little something we call the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Love the news at noon. Little side piece to our heaviosity issues. So let's go to the man who called Temple's 2000th win. No, he's not the owl without a vowel. He's the owl with maybe a couple vowels.
Couple.
A U and an E.
Yeah.
He's Ray Dunn, ladies and gentlemen.
One of them's very unnecessary.
And an A.
We don't need the E, though, really, when it comes down to it. All right, let's start in college hoops. Just to keep with the theme I've got over the last 24 hours, let's go to one Doug Gottlieb, who has ignited quite a firestorm over the last couple of days. Of course, he both hosts his daily radio show and serves as the UW Green Bay's head coach. Spoke last week about scheduling, non-conference scheduling, one of those generic questions every coach is asked because they add Division II's Michigan Tech coming in this week, and this is what he talked about in the lead-up to this game.
Part of the reason I want to play better teams is like, it's 2 degrees outside, snowing. Like, I don't really like the idea of nobody you coming in here and like, I always thought, like, what do we learn playing a game where we win by 20? But there's a methodology to it, and I'm going to have to adjust moving forward.
So,
they play Division II Michigan Tech.
He called them nobody you.
Nobody you.
What do we gain by winning by 20-plus points?
Yeah.
Now, yesterday, they played that game at 11 a.m. Nobody you came to campus, won the game by 2 points.
Oh, man.
Doug Gottlieb has his radio show at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Fox Sports Radio. A lot of people wondering, hey, man, you said you were going to do this full-time coach and this full-time radio thing. Now you're going to have to address the fact that you lost to nobody you by 2 points on your home court. Here is the beginning of the Doug Gottlieb Show yesterday.
America's longest-running afternoon drive sports radio show from the TireRack.com Fox Sports Radio studios. Bang, bang, won't stop till we legend. And sitting in for Doug, here's Dan Beyer and former NFL All-Pro safety, Kerry Rhodes.
Welcome in. It is a Wednesday. No Doug today. Did you really think that Doug was going to coach a game and do a show in a span of 3 hours?
Kind of.
You thought maybe it could happen. Right? Phoenix had a tough one today, played without their leading scorer, but Doug is dealing with that.
Doug's dealing with that.
Wow.
No
So he shirked his radio show because and that's listen. I probably would not want to come on either.
Oh, you got to face the music after that.
He faced the music with the press after the game, I assume. But he probably felt he was unprepared to do a show on that particular day since he was occupied. But let's take it to another extreme because we never addressed the Doug Gottlieb, Adam Schefter thing.
Oh, wonderful.
All right, so here's what happened. So Schefter said they're gonna give Michael Vick the Sacramento State job because they have $50 million in NIL money. To which Doug Gottlieb said, "Phooey. There's no way. That's a stone lie." So he tweets out a lot of controversial stuff. He tweets out, "Oh yeah, what agent in your pocket put that out?" Right? Insulting. So Schefter comes back like a 2-year-old and insults Doug Gottlieb because, "Oh yeah, Doug, you got to pick what after losing 8 in a row." Like 2 children fighting. Like, first of all, Doug Gottlieb, what it is an obnoxious pain in the ass. But Schefter going for the 8 in a row loss thing is way below the belt. It's childish.
I'm supporting Schefter here.
Oh, stop.
I'm supporting him. Who's Doug Gottlieb to come after Adam Schefter, whose reports are usually spot on and accurate, and then didn't Michael Vick get hired by Norfolk State?
Norfolk State, not Sacramento State.
But still, I mean, obviously teams are interested in hiring him.
Doug Gottlieb explained it. I saw his explanation. He said the reason I did that is because us smaller schools are fighting like hell to compete. when you put something like that out there that's totally untrue, there's no way they have $50 million in their NIL. That makes fans look at our program like, oh, well, Sacramento State can do it. Why can't you guys raise that kind of L? He's got a legitimate point for that. But for Schefter to go personal and say, oh yeah, you got a lot of credibility after losing 8 in a row, that's childish.
I stand with Shefty. Especially when Gottlieb, you can't, as a head coach, publicly say before a game that we're not going to learn much winning by 20.
That's
terrible coaching.
That's a different subject.
Terrible coaching.
He's got a point when Schefter puts out inaccurate information that some agent may have told him who was invested in Michael Vick getting that job. There's no way. And he's right. There's no way they have Sacramento State has $50 million in NIL. And it does make the smaller program, puts pressure on them.
Yeah, but you know the way the game works. Shefty puts stuff out, and that's how he gets information back. It's a game.
This is a college thing, man. This isn't a pro thing. You put college out there that some small school is $50 million NIL. The fans around Wisconsin, Green Bay go, really? How come you don't have that? If they can do it, how come you can't? And it puts pressure on them. It's not right. All right, what's next, Ray?
Still hilarious to see Schefter get like that. I still laughed. All right, let's keep moving here. Let's go to San Francisco, where Kyle Shanahan has had to deal with the, fallout from the Devondre Campbell situation last week on Thursday Night Football, where he just didn't want to play. Third quarter, just called it quits. He was asked yesterday if he felt the team did enough due diligence into Campbell before they made the decision. His answer, quite revealing.
Yeah, of course. We look into all that. It was tough losing Dre. We knew we were going to have to need a starting caliber linebacker. And we had 2 guys that we thought we had committed that we lost in free agency. And then another guy got cut after that and became available. I was with Devondre his rookie year in Atlanta, so I knew what he was capable of. Not that I was real close or anything with the defensive guys, being the offensive coordinator there and everything, but I know we liked him in that building. I know a lot of guys who had coached him who had been good, and we obviously made a mistake. But it's not something that you don't look into. You look into everything, and you weigh the risk and reward of stuff. You weigh the situations that you have, and what decisions you can make in terms of the options. And by no means was it our first option, but at the time, with what went down, we thought it was our best option, and it didn't work out.
That's very honest. How come the Eagles weren't as honest with that linebacker that they acquired?
Who, Devin White?
Yeah.
Well,
here, all of a sudden, there were no words. All of a sudden, he was just evaporated.
Yeah, but they did that because Devin White, they felt like couldn't play on the field. This guy just refused to go out there, and they showed bad character.
I don't think Fangio thought that Devin White could play on the field.
Yeah,
that's what I think. But they didn't make it. They didn't say we re-evaluated it. At least Shanahan was being honest. No.
Yeah, he was. I'm not hating watching San Francisco's demise.
You're not hating anybody. You're not hating Schefter today. You're not hating Shanahan. Let's move on to the third one.
All right, final one for you. Lou Williams went on Byron Scott's latest podcast, which now I found out he has a podcast as well. Everybody just has one. Told the story of how he attempted to broker peace between Nick Young and D'Angelo Russell and the fallout from the Iggy Azalea cheating scandal.
Explain what that was, right?
That was D'Angelo Russell had caught on video Nick Young, I think, admitting to cheating, that he was cheating on Iggy Azalea at the time, which then broke up Nick Young and Iggy Azalea. Obviously, Nick Young not too happy.
So, in other words, D'Angelo Russell was the ultimate
snitch.
Rat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big time. So, Lou Will was put in charge of trying to calm this situation down. Take a listen to this.
When Nick and D-Lo were going through their thing, I had to deal with a lot of it because I was the vet in the locker room. And I remember D-Lo calling me, and he was like, OG, I up? Yeah, you up. I said, man, you got to call Nick. Y'all got to get that right. Let's have a conversation as a group tomorrow. Let's get over it. So we put it out that we was going to have a team meeting right before the game for D-Lo to address the team, address Nick, apologize. Everybody is in the lounge. Nick comes in, D-Lo comes in, the whole team, everybody sits down. Minus Cole, by the way. He's probably in the building. He's just not interested in what we got going on. D-Lo is starting his speech, and honestly, it's helping. We're breaking the wall down because people don't realize for like 2 or 3 weeks, they really wanted to have a fight. We finally got them to get in the same room and have a conversation. D-Lo is going through his whole thing. Yo, I apologize. I took it too far, and everybody kind of chipping in. It's a good moment for us because, we're having our struggles a little bit. Right. Cole walks clean through the meeting, says, hey, man, cut all this kumbaya. We got a game to play.
Who was he saying came in? Who?
Kobe Bryant.
Oh, Kobe. Oh, okay.
Was in the facility, did not attend the meeting, showed up to the meeting, walked straight through it, said, cut the kumbaya bleep. We got a game to play.
That's Kobe. All right, and that'll do it for the news at noon today. I thought you were going to stick in my favorite TV college football analyst, Joel Klatt. You know, I know people don't want to hear this, but you're going to. All right. I've always said there's this innate Penn State hate out there. Joel Klatt can't wait to hate on Penn State. He hated on them when the bracket came out, right? Saying they got an easy path, they changed the system and all that. And now he's ripping Penn State for having a whiteout on Saturday when they play SMU at 12 noon. Do we have the audio on that? Let's hear Joel Klatt.
Hey, by the way, shocking, you can do a whiteout at noon.
All right, that
was it?
That was his subtle direct shot.
A little subtle shot there, shocking. Now, is that Penn State hate or not?
Yeah, I think that is.
Oh, my God.
But
I can't believe you're agreeing.
But the reason I'm agreeing is when he went to Colorado, was a lot lesser of a program probably, right, back then?
Yeah.
So that's where I think his jealousy comes from. But when you say Penn State hate and you direct it towards me and Ray, you're off base. Ray, you agree with me on this?
Yeah.
I think Klatt probably has it because he went to Colorado and not Penn State. But me and Ray, no.
Yeah, let me ask you a
no
question.
Penn State hate here.
Are you rooting for Penn State Saturday?
Sure.
No, you're not. Don't lie to me.
Mike.
Do not lie to me. You are itching to have SMU upset them.
I want them to win because I care about you and I know it'll make you happy.
Yeah.
Ray, don't you feel the same way? Don't you want Mike to be happy?
No, I told you what I was rooting for. I want the world to burn. I want Notre Dame, Penn State semis.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Both of you are full of crap. All right?
That's fine.
610-632-0975. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Andrew Salciunas.
Mike Missanelli Show. All right, here we go. Let's rack it up here because we started this show with the concerns that you have that the Eagles aren't going to get the job done. And by job done, I mean win the NFC. I can't guarantee anything at the Super Bowl. Super Bowls are their own island. Okay, a lot of things can happen in the Super Bowl. A great quarterback can beat you, whatever. And I wouldn't even hold it against the Eagles if they lost in the Super Bowl. I would really hold it against them, though, with the best team on a level playing field. When you look at all this, you evaluate everything. They are the best team slated to go into that NFC Championship game, and if they don't win it, it would be disastrous. So I don't have any concerns because I know they're the best team going in. That's the best I could possibly hope for. What else could I hope for? That they take the best team into the NFC title game, no matter where it is. So I don't have any concerns, but I know fans have concerns. My cohorts here in the studio have concerns, much less the fans who always want to introduce something to hold them back from just appreciating that this is a good team that should win the NFC. So we've gone down a list so far of things. We have 6 strong ones, all right? And one, which I have to laugh at, this Tampa Bay factor. Because the Tampa Bay Bucks have had success against the Eagles in the past, that means you're going to have success against them now. That doesn't compute to me. It's not logical to me. The Eagles are so much better team. The factor of Jalen Hurts versus Todd Bowles. What, we can't figure out a way? The coaching staff can't figure out a way to design an offensive scheme that would beat the great Todd Bowles? That's silly to me. Number 3, the 17 in a row factor. Oh, it's hard for a team to win 17 in a row. Sooner or later, they're going to run out of time, and that might be the NFC title game. Well, that's a concern. The Sirianni factor. This guy, he's still capable of messing something up. Jalen Carter. This is Bill's fellow. Jalen Carter's going to be worn out. He's played all these kind of snaps. All of a sudden, the motor's going to stop. The fan belt's going to rip, and he's got nothing left. And then, finally, the lack of scoring in the first quarter. As if their lack of scoring in the first quarter is a permanent condition. Or the lack of scoring in the first quarter is going to be overcome by some offensive juggernaut who's going to score 21 points on them before they get a point. I don't buy any of them. But we're listing the concerns. Bill, do you have any more to add?
There's one that I know you're going to love. Is Jake Elliott okay?
All right.
Because we saw one game now, and I'm hoping that snapped him out of it against Pittsburgh. He hit 2 for 2 from field goal range, 3 for 3 from extra point, even kicked a field goal that didn't matter, but he made it. You know playoff games sometimes can come down to a late field goal.
Is he a good kicker?
I still believe in Jake Elliott.
Okay, he's a good kicker.
Yeah, I think he's a good kicker, and I think, and as crazy as it sounds, the fact that the guy's a scratch golfer, I think, helps his psyche. Because you know how easy it is to lose your swing.
The hell?
I think it helps his psyche. He has the same type of mentality. When he talked about it after he missed a couple of kicks, he says, I'm still striking the ball. It's very similar to a golf swing.
A, I don't make a kicker any factor in a game. B, I certainly don't make a good kicker who went through a little bit of a hardship a factor because I know he's a good kicker, just like I know this is a good team. I don't worry about things that are good, Bill.
Yes, but you have said on record, and I agree with this, that kickers can fall off a cliff.
They can, but he didn't fall off a cliff last week. The cliff's over. They built a wall on the cliff. He can't fall over now.
Listen, I'm not saying I'm concerned about Jake Elliott, but the exercise we are doing today is listing what some fans are worried about. I'm trying to be a voice of the people. That's what I am. I am the people's champ. I know people are still concerned about Jake Elliott.
I wish we would just save our worries for things that are worth worrying about. Like, to create worry, you lose years off your life. When you create worry, you lose hair, Bill. And then you lose year off your life. Like, I don't understand it. When it's time to worry, then worry with the best of them. But when we create worry for something that's good, that's what I don't understand. That's very illogical to me. In every walk of life, that's illogical to me. It makes me, my stomach churn.
I understand it, but at the same time, I do get why the Philadelphia fan base, maybe more than any other fan base, is going to worry even when things are good. Because, and I go back every time to this, they've never had the dynasty. We've never been able to, as a city, feel good for an extended period of time. Mm-hmm. Something always ruins our feel-good moments. Yeah. We've had great teams in the past that have come up short. Really, you look at the Eagles, the only time they've ever won a Super Bowl was the year that no one thought they could because of all the injuries that they had. They were the dogs. Remember all the dog masks?
Yeah.
Anytime we thought we had the team, it didn't happen. So I understand fans worry.
All right, we got a joke text. We have a joke text concern, which is this guy's probably more along my line of thinking. They have to make a joke to come up with some kind of a concern. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
The only concern that this texter has is that Bill's wife will go into labor on a game day, and that Nick will be more concerned about his family than coaching the Eagles because of Bill's wife going into labor.
All right, look, this is a joke, obviously, towards Nick Sirianni, but I will say I am very nervous about that very thing because she's due right in the middle of the playoffs, man. Like, if this happens in the divisional round or the wild card round, I'm going to be very concerned, Mike.
Why would you have sex at that particular time?
You know, we didn't think this one through. I actually said that to my wife the other day. Like, what were we doing? We should have realized 9 months later what it was going to result in.
You couldn't keep it in the holster for another month?
My in-laws listen to the show. They think it's the immaculate.
Pretty sure your in-laws might think
conception.
you've had sex with their daughter.
Immaculate conception.
I don't know, baby. My in-laws are listening to the show.
Anyway, I am concerned. You know what? I would rather her go into labor maybe during the game than on the Monday after the game because I want to be able to be here to react to what happened. As long as I have a date in mind that I'm hoping for. I want it on the Tuesday after the wild card round.
Ask you a question. Did you ever stay at your in-laws' house before you were married?
Yeah, down the shore. They got the house in Ocean City.
Did you sleep together?
Yeah. Wait, you talking about in the same bed? You're not getting dirty here.
In the same bed?
Of course. We're married. And I'm 41.
Did you keep it quiet?
My grandmom's listening.
Did you utter a grunt?
Probably a good time to play the music for the
Ray,
break.
what are you doing, Ray? You come out with this text. You know what Mike's going to do. And by the way, people on YouTube, wait, is Bill really related to Nick Sirianni? No, it's a shtick.
Is it?
People still think I'm related to this guy.
Why would they think that?
First of all, Nick Sirianni would say, I'm related to Bill Colarulo, not the other way around.
Well, no, we would know if you were related to him because he would have had a nice folksy story about you over the last 4 years.
You were dating her. Parents said it's okay to sleep together in their shore house.
Oh, I think we were probably engaged. I mean, I don't know. I'm 40-something years old, dude.
I'm just saying.
I think once you hit a certain age and you're like,
yeah,
she's 35, I'm 40, you know. At that point, it's not like you're high school kids.
All right, I'm just asking. Coming up in 5 minutes' time, we're going to talk to John Keim. He covers the Washington Commanders for ESPN.com. We'll get a scouting report on how the Commanders can win this game. I don't see it. Maybe he does. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Repping for Washington, I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Garage Beer's Ugly Sweater Contest at PJ's. Tonight at PJ Willands in Cherry Hill, wear your ugliest sweater for a chance to win great prizes, including autographed Saquon Barkley print. Go to pjspub.com for details. The Eagles getting set for their second matchup with the Washington Commanders this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Last month, the Birds dispatched the Commanders 26-18 at Lincoln Financial Field. If they can grab another victory over Washington, Eagles will lock up another division title. Nick Sirianni told the media on Wednesday that he's not talking about that one quite yet.
No, I know we're pretty boring. We're getting ready to go play this game. We know that if we do win this game, that will happen, but all we can focus on is our preparation. We haven't really talked about that. You know, we'll talk about that after we're able to put the hat on or the T-shirt on there. So that's when we'll talk about it.
Our preparation on this show for that game will include ESPN Commanders reporter John Keim coming up in the next segment to break everything down from the Washington side of things. Elsewhere, Flyers lost 6-4 to the Red Wings last night in Detroit. Back at home tonight against Los Angeles Kings at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. 76ers back in action tomorrow night against the Hornets again. This update's also brought to you by PayPal. Get exclusive cashback offers in the app with the PayPal debit card. Stack 5% more in your chosen monthly category on up to $1,000 of purchases. Don't just pay. PayPal. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
92. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5. The Fanatic. Big game coming up on Sunday as the Eagles, maybe they're looking past this game. Maybe we're looking past this game. The Eagles aren't going to lose another game. They're going to sail into the NFC title game as the number one seed. But it is sometimes difficult to beat your opponent twice in the same year. For some insights on this game against the Washington Commanders, we bring in the man who covers the Commanders for ESPN.com. John Keim joins us on the Comcast Business Hotline. Hello, John.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. All right, so tell me why this game could be different for the Washington Commanders, and they can actually throw a little bit of uncertainty into this Eagle juggernaut.
Well, first of all, 2 weeks ago I watched Xavier Legette drop a ball at the goal line that would have won the game for the Panthers. So, in other words, like, any week you don't know in this league, right? Like, there's no reason the Panthers should have come close in that game, and yet they did, because this is a weird league sometimes. And then you watch the Eagles look unbeatable last week. So where does this go? So the league is weird that way. Then number two, first of all, the Eagles they're better. We know that, right? Like, nobody's going to argue that Washington would be a better team. But if there's a difference between the first game and this game, last game they were banged up, coming off a short week, on the road, off a physical game against Pittsburgh, and there you go. And so I think, like, how much did that play into it? Will that make a difference this time? I don't know. I know they hope it does. I don't know if it will. I think Jaden Daniels is feeling a lot better this week than he was that week. He was dealing with the after effects of a rib injury, some practice time off, and et cetera. So how much is that a factor? I don't know. I do know he's looked refreshed the last 2 weeks. I also know he's probably facing the NFL's best defense this week. So it's different, right? But, like, could it be different because of that? Sure. But then they're playing the run better. But the last time they faced Barkley, he had a couple big runs in the fourth quarter. And the hard part with Barkley is it's not like that was an unusual situation for him where you think you have him in check, and then boom, he kills you, right? So, like, I don't know if that will be different, but it has to be different. But I think for the reason for optimism here would be not a short week, feeling much more refreshed, quarterback who is maybe who's been good all year, but maybe just feeling a lot better than he did in that game.
All really good points, especially the one with the quarterback and a short week. In that game, the Commanders, to me, look like they just weren't ready for that kind of a hot spot yet. So are they more mature at this stage of the season to the point where they can actually be ready for a big spot?
Well, there are a couple of things. One, I think they're a mature team, period, and they have been all year, because I think the way they've handled situations has been good all year. I think when you look at that game, to me, what it highlighted was I think the rosters are just different. What the Eagles did in one off season, restocking that defense, is incredible, right? With Quinion Mitchell and then Cooper DeJean, and then with the way Carter is playing, that's a separator from what these guys have, right? So I think more than them being mature and not ready, I just think it was where the Eagles are at. Keep in mind, they have a 4th down and 2 in the Eagles' territory where they're down 12-10 late in the game or midway through the fourth, that if you convert it, then what happens? Now, I don't know that they win the game, but it's certainly a different game, and do you view it differently? But the bottom line is they didn't do that. So I think that's to say, they're a mature team. I think ultimately it can come down to, I think the Eagles just have the Joe Witt, their defensive coordinator today, was just saying they have the best offensive line in football, right? And so how can this team match that? I don't know that they can. So I think it's more about that than are they ready for it. And but I do think the short week stuff was whether or not I'm not going to say it cost them the game, but I think it helps them not playing in that situation this time. I think the other, again, I don't think there was a matter of not being ready for that spotlight. I think it's just their roster's really good.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just try to, the Eagles' flaw before last week was, they can't really throw the ball if Jalen has to go to the air.
I heard. We heard that.
Oh, yeah. They're big time in Philly, and then all of a sudden, boom, they scheme it to the point where they get the ball to A.J. Brown early, and the passing game now is no longer a worry. So how does Washington's defense attack what the Eagles are right now, and what are they? They used to be run-centric, but they threw the ball last week. So how do they look at this configuration?
I think anybody who plays them knows it's really about Saquon Barkley, right? Not all about him, but if you're going to have to pick one or the other, I think you've got to go with trying to stop him because the run game is central to everything they have done. And that's not to say the Eagles can't throw the ball by any means, but it's like if you're picking one, you can't let Barkley run wild on you. And the hard part is really being able to accomplish that and stopping him, especially behind that line. I had a guy yesterday was basically cussing out the Giants for letting him leave in free agency. I think it starts there. Then keep in mind, these guys went out and traded for Marshawn Lattimore, and he played his first game last week. The Saints didn't target him. There were 2 times they looked at him and opted to throw elsewhere. And one time, you have the guy. They just were afraid to throw at him. I don't think you're going to have the same situation this week. But the bottom line is you have a really good corner who was playing in this game, who did not play last game, who can match up better against an A.J. Brown, and they have Mikey Samerstill, a rookie, who can maybe, they can do a little bit better matching up. And, the passing game didn't hurt him in the first game. It was the run game, and then the Eagles' defense is what killed them. So, but I think you have to try and take away Barkley because if you don't, they're just going to bludgeon you to death. And then after bludgeoning, he's going to stick a knife right in the middle of your chest because, that's what he does.
Wow, bludgeon that knife. Happy Christmas to you, John.
Yeah, violent, John.
I don't know where all that came from. I'm a little bit concerned. I might have to go to therapy after this. But he is a fourth quarter assassin.
Yeah, he does. He seems to get stronger as the game goes on. And you were just talking about maybe Marshawn Lattimore up against A.J. Brown. Let's talk about the flip side. Quinyon Mitchell up against Terry McLaurin. Yeah. Because Terry McLaurin, outside of that game against Quinyon, his last 5 games have been pretty good. He's got to be motivated to try to do something.
Well, there's 2 things. One, I love Quinyon Mitchell. That kid is really good. And he was fun to watch leading up to that game and then watching him in that game. So, what I thought the Eagles also did really well, first of all, it wasn't always a man-to-man matchup. There was a lot of zone that they played. And I think what Mitchell did really well is he plays to his help and his leverage. So, he knew when he had help and where he had help. And there were times where the linebackers are dropping to areas where they know this is where, they're widening their drops to take something away from McLaurin. In the red zone, they're bracketing him in the red zone. But it was just smart coverage because they knew where someone else is going to be to take it away. Now, these guys have to play off that better. If they're going to do that, then you've got to find someone else to hurt them. And they did a couple times in some zone pockets where, okay, this guy's widening, just you're going to hit, Zach Ertz on the curl, right? I think one thing that's come from that game, though, is Terry McLaurin has spent a lot of time on the left side this year. And in that game, it was almost, I think it was he ran 20-some routes, all but 2, I think, were from the left side. That was a problem in that game, and it's been predominantly on the left side, but in other games, if you're playing man, it doesn't really matter what side you're on, right? But when you're in zone and they know where you're going to be, you can drop to that. So since that game, they've been better at moving him around more, putting him on the right side, not just putting him on the right side, but targeting him on that side. So, that's a difference. So I think the way you combat that is to maybe make it harder on the Eagles to know exactly where he's going to be, et cetera. So, but yeah, and the other thing I liked about Mitchell, too, is that he changed things up a little bit late in the game. He had a couple jams late in the game in the fourth quarter. It's you didn't see that all game, and you saved it for this moment, right? I just think he's a smart player. That was a hell of a pick.
Okay, so let's get to the nitty-gritty here. I think you're feeling that maybe the Commanders win this game. Am I feeling you right here?
No, I don't. I think no? I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you why I think could it be different. I don't know that it will be different. So, I mean, I think the Eagles are playing as well as anybody in the league. So I think it's hard to say. I think they have a chance to win? Yes, because you're playing at home. It is a different scenario, and the quarterback is special. But do they have enough? I don't know. And I think it's going to take them forcing the Eagles to throw and maybe getting Jalen Hurts on a pick. But, is that going to happen, right? You have to make that happen. But can they? And can you threaten them all game? Like Austin Eckler was a big player in that first game. He's out with a concussion. Zach Ertz was a good player in that game, has been a key passing target for Daniels all year. He's in the concussion protocol, might not play. Noah Brown played in that game. He's out with a kidney injury. So can they still threaten them with what they have? And can Daniels make plays with his legs that he didn't really make in that first game? Like, they did a good job in the pass rush. So I don't, do I think they can win? Yes. Do I think they will? I think that's hard to say, given what I said. I think it could be different, but, I'll tell you this. Not putting my house on it.
Okay. All right. He's John Keim. He covers the Washington Commanders for ESPN.com. John, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Enjoyed it.
There he is, John Keim. Well, the Commanders are better. I thought they were a bit outclassed. As that game continued the first time, they were a bit outclassed. Maybe they're more seasoned, and he's right. They were in a bad spot on Thursday night, and the quarterback was banged up still. So maybe they got a fighting chance. What's the line on this game now? The line, let's see. The line on this game is Eagles minus 3.5. So a slight nod to them in Washington.
Yeah, and the money line's not huge either. The Commanders are a plus 154. So I think Vegas has given them a little bit of a chance to win this game. I mean, John makes a good point. When you have a rookie quarterback on a short week like it was the last time, I think that's a little bit more difficult than it would be on a veteran guy like Jalen Hurts. But I just think this defense is so good, they're going to be able to shut down this Commanders offense. Although
I would think that you would almost not be bothered by a loss in this spot.
Well,
you're a 17 in a row guy.
But I told you, my 17 in a row has been removed because I look at the Panthers game and the drama afterward as a loss. It had the same effect that a loss would have had.
Okay.
You look inward, you figure out ways to refocus and get better. So I'm okay with it. I don't want to see them lose this week because we still don't know what happens with Detroit and Minnesota. There's still an outside chance you get the 1 seed and you get the bye. And then the 17 in a row is completely wiped out because it's only 16 and you mix a bye in. So I'm not ready for them. I'm not rooting for a loss. No way.
All right. Let's go back to the phones. Chris and Yardley's been hanging. Chris, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Chris.
Hey, gentlemen. How are we today?
How you doing, Chris?
All right. First of all, the fact that Bill doesn't know what lily liver is and what you're describing him sounds more like a miner in like the old Western movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get your nomenclature down, my man.
Well, Bill in a lot of ways is unaware of stuff. Like Bill is in his own little world. What I've learned about Bill.
Yeah, because when we were in college and at frat parties, we were like, "You little lily liver, you."
Yeah, well,
we're really using that term a lot.
I'm 44, and I was in college around the same time as you, and I still know what it means. But
have you ever said it? Have you ever used it have you ever used it? Have you ever called anyone a lily liver?
No, but I've heard it used.
No, I think a lot of people have used it because of the reason you're saying, Chris, because that was a Western thing. You lily liver, you yellow sap belly, there's stuff like that. And I think that just kind of like was thrown out in the orbit and people picked it up.
And with that beard, I'm just saying, Bill, you got to get it down. You sound like a miner when you do it.
If I start using the term lily liver with this beard, then I'm really going to have people thinking I'm from Lancaster, PA.
My reason for calling is real quick. Just put a little enlightenment into why we take this team so seriously. August 31st, my wife walks out on me. The Philadelphia Eagles were one of the few things that we had together that no matter what, we could always agree on. And I stopped watching them for a month because I was torn apart, devastated. And then I said, screw that. This is my team too. So I started watching again. And in that time, in that month, I had a little bit of pragmatism sink in. all the times that I say, oh, this is going to happen or this could happen, I'm only setting it up because when it happens, I can say, see, I knew it.
See,
I'd rather be in a position where I'm at right now where I can say, I look at this and I go, I just listened to the reporter for Washington, and he basically just crapped all over his team while trying to give a little bit of hope because he knows it's a hopeless situation.
We have a tendency to protect ourselves from hurt. And I don't mean Jalen, from hurt.
No.
And so
Yes.
in this town, that's what we do.
But you have to understand something here, people. It's okay to have expectations. It's okay to have them diminished. It's okay to be heartbroken. It's okay to be sad because they're going to come back next season. But this season, we're kicking the living crap out of people, and we're doing it in a way where if we had to face a team like the Eagles, we would be talking about why we couldn't win this game. So as far as I'm concerned, sit back, relax, and enjoy every moment.
I totally get it. It's like when somebody brings over to you a nice big meal from a steakhouse, right? And it's right in front of you. You can't deny it. That's a beautiful steak right there with maybe a garlic mashed potato or whatever. You can't worry about whether the steak inside is going to be tough. It's presented to you as a beautiful thing. And that's what the Eagles are presented to you. They're like a big steak dinner. And you cut into it. If it's tough, maybe that happens in the Super Bowl. And if it is, that's the luck of the steak that was thrown on the grill.
It's a great analogy, Mike.
Oh, thank you.
Very good analogy. I really couldn't hear anything he said after he was talking about his wife leaving. I felt bad for him.
I did, too. He sounded like he had a little emotion in him.
Yeah, he did. So I'm rooting for the Eagles just because I think it'll make his day. That's it. But the thing, people are saying on YouTube, people share on the air. Like, we are like therapists at times.
Wife walked out on.
Yeah, that's never easy. Not that I would know. I wouldn't know.
Sometimes you need to just stop talking.
Yeah, I mean,
Have you
I wouldn't
ever considered that?
But when I
Is there
said
ever
it,
just
it sounded like it happened to me. It did not.
I tell you, you keep that beard. There's a chance.
My wife would never. She knows she's one lucky lady.
She wakes up one day and goes, I just can't take it anymore.
She knows how lucky she is.
I remember yesterday.
Not that would happen to me because I wear tight shirts and I'm muscled up. And
When we had someone call and say you were
shakes
humble.
Hold on.
And kind bars.
Yeah, humble.
Yeah, humble was the word used to describe you yesterday. Remember that?
Yeah, but once again with the shirts, it's a large.
It's not.
Look at the damn tag.
First of all, you have never worn a shirt. How many shows have we do?
This is 94.
This is 94?
Yeah.
I can't believe we're almost at 100 shows already.
I know, it's crazy.
Like we started yesterday. He has never worn a shirt that was a button-down, loose-fit shirt. It's always a shirt.
It's the same shirt, just a different color every day.
I own a lot of these.
Same shirt every day.
These are great shirts. These are called, the brand is Good Life. The material.
Forget the material.
Is the best.
The shirt has to hug you. You're incapable of wearing a shirt that doesn't snug you.
I have honestly, I must have like 30 Good Life shirts in all different types. I got the long sleeves. I got the ones that are the V-necks. I got the short sleeve ones, the ones that have the buttons. Yeah, I like my Good Life shirts.
Is that Nordstrom?
It is a Nordstrom. Nordstrom's my favorite store. Mike knows a good Nordstrom.
Yeah.
That's a good place to shop.
I just looked it up. I wanted to see because it says they only sell that shirt in smalls, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. These are all larges, damn it.
What happened when you used to have
Kids
to wear
larges?
a button-down shirt with a tie?
Oh, I hated it, dude. I hated
gotta fit
it.
snug.
I used to, because I used to go to court all the time, and I have to wear suits all the time with ties and all that. But then it got to the point at the law firm where I was more of like CEO. I would wear same thing I wear here. I would wear my Lulus and a Good Life.
We didn't need the whole story of that. Sorry, right? So you're right. He carried it was just a quip. He had to tell the whole story of why he hated the shirt and the time and the whole bit. I wasn't really asking for the whole story.
You know what I think? You know the old expression, you hate us because you ain't us? I think both of you were just hating.
Oh, right. Give me a protein shake, quick. 610-632-0975. I want to wear a Goodfellas shirt, wherever the hell that is. The Mike Missanelli Show continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Repping for Washington, I'm Ray Dunn. This update is driven by, is Gary Barbera the best? Boy, I guess Gary Barbera is thankful for Birds captain big man Brandon Graham. Drive like BG today and happy holiday with the new Barbera Jeeps, $249 a month. The Eagles getting set for their second matchup with the Washington Commanders this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Last month, the Birds dispatched the Commanders 26-18 at Lincoln Financial Field. If they can grab another win over Washington, the Eagles will lock up another division title. Nick Sirianni told the media on Wednesday that he's not yet talking about that one with the team.
No, I know we're pretty boring. We're getting ready to go play this game. We know that if we do win this game, that will happen, but all we can focus on is our preparation. We haven't really talked about that. We'll talk about that after we're able to put the hat on or the T-shirt on there, so that's when we'll talk about that.
We just helped you get prepared for this game against the Commanders with ESPN's John Keim, who covers the Commanders. You catch that conversation one more time on our website, 975thefanatic.com. Elsewhere, Flyers lost 6-4 to the Red Wings last night in Detroit. They're back at home tonight against the Los Angeles Kings at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And some news out of City Council. Today, they approved the main bill allowing the 76ers to build a new arena in Center City. It passed at a 12-5 vote. I'm Ray Dunn on the home, the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Missanelli Show has been holding court.
There's a lot of issues we need to talk about today. Well, I need to call out Eagle fans. I need to get them on the record today with my zero concerns about the Philadelphia Eagles. As you know, I've been floating in air over the Eagles the last several days because of what I saw on Sunday and how they dispatched a pretty good Pittsburgh Steelers team. And then I related back to how they dispatched a pretty good Ravens team. And I go, this team is without question the best team in the NFC. And I would be wholly disappointed if they didn't get to the Super Bowl. In fact, that would be one of the biggest devastations in Philadelphia sports history. For me, it'd be right in there. I have zero concern with this team. But I know the fan base still has concerns. I mean, it goes without saying that this fan base really expects the worst to happen.
Mike and Bill have been pleading their cases.
I could probably spew right now 10 different concerns that I have heard from Eagles fans over the last couple of weeks, even though they just dominated the Steelers game, even though they've won 10 games in a row. I know there are fans out there that have these concerns, but let me dispel one right now that I have had. I was saying a couple of weeks ago that one of my major concerns was if this team continues to win and they don't get the first round bye, that would mean they would have to win 17 straight games to win the Super Bowl.
You have been very nervous about that concept.
I was nervous about having to win 17 straight games to win the Super Bowl. I am no longer nervous.
The Mike Missanelli Show Holding Court is brought to you by Grunko Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. We treat every case like it's Dallas Week. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Now back to Mike Missanelli on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, the 1 o'clock hour of the Mike Missanelli Show. It's brought to you by Ferguson HVAC, Lyon Conklin, Attention HVAC Contractors. For equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job, just visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Ben Salem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. All right, some breaking news just hit that is kind of sports news, but more city news. Philadelphia City Council has given final approval to the 76ers proposal to build a new arena in Center City, the $1.3 billion project touted by the Sixers and others as an opportunity to revitalize the Market Street corridor, but held in poor esteem by the Chinatown organizations and some neighbors and some people. There were protesters that locked arms inside council chambers that had to be removed by police, handcuffed and removed by police. And they were saying they were chanting, "Council sellout." And others were chanting, "Build it, build it." So I know that the majority of the people that we've talked to on this station about it are not in approval of it because they feel it inconveniences them from actually going to a Sixer game. And a lot of people are who come into the city are afraid to take public transportation. They're worried about where the park. All these. I am for progress, and I believe that this is a progressive thing that the Sixers are doing for themselves. Frankly, it's their thing. They want their own building, and I get it. But I also think that progress and urban renewal like that is really good for the city. I like stuff that makes the city special. I think this would make the city special. And as long as there is a bill in this, and I think there is, although I haven't looked at it, that in a way protects Chinatown zoning, I'm okay with it. And there was a bill that created a new Chinatown zoning overlay. That was approved 14-3. The vote to greenlight the Sixers project was 12-5. So 5 council members were against this. And I got to be honest with you, I'm surprised. I thought the opposition to it would squelch this and would take more years to go by before they got to this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm with you on both fronts, man. I'm excited for it. I think it will be good for the city, hopefully. But I am surprised that it got through as easily. I mean, I guess I could say the word easily, even though there's been a lot of opposition to it. It seems that it went through fairly easily. Now, the opponents did at a news conference say that their fight's not over. They're now going to try to take legal action to stop this. I don't know if that would be successful. I'm not sure what type of legal action they can take. But I'm excited. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a very interesting thing that they do down there. And people will learn. We will adjust. I know we're used to driving to South Philadelphia. I still don't understand everybody's obsession with wanting all of the stadiums down in South Philadelphia. Like, how that improves your experience going to a Sixers game knowing, hey, that's where the Eagles play over there. Like, what does that do for you? I've heard that from a lot of people.
People think that it's convenient, that you can zip a car down there, get into a lot, go to a game, get in a car. I don't think that I've ever driven down to an event down there where it was convenient. I got to be honest with you. You're in traffic, insufferable traffic, in and out of getting to a game down there. So, I would rather, I've learned to park in South Philly and hop on a subway to come into every event that I go to, rather than go into a parking lot.
Yeah, it's not easy down there. I mean, I go down there for all the Eagles games because we do the pregame show from Xfinity. It's always a pain. But what else bothers me going down there is sometimes you'll come on 95. I'll get off on 95, and sometimes when I'm going to a Flyers game, you can just go right into the parking lot. Other times there's a cop there that has it shut down for no reason. And I'll ask them sometimes, like, well, why is it closed today? I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't closed last week.
Nobody knows. It's okay, so let's just look at the arena now on why people would not like it. And listen, you've called before saying, I don't want that down there, blah, blah, blah. So I'd love to voice your concerns on that as well. We have topics going on where we've asked people to look, what are the impediments to you believing that the Eagles, what would stop the Eagles from winning the NFC and getting to the Super Bowl? We've done that today. What are the impediments that you feel now that this arena, and believe me, folks, this is not going to happen overnight. Like, we're talking about dealing with this in the year 2032. All right?
That's wild.
Yeah, so it's not like it's imminent. Like, we'll have plenty of time to process it. But when you think about it now, why is it bad? I don't live in Chinatown. Obviously, I'm not an Asian American. I don't know how this would impact my living situation. It seems to me that this may help businesses down there. I don't know that for sure. But if there is urban renewal and improvement and concern for people who live in that area, they're going to try to take care of that. I don't know.
Yeah, by 2032, what NBA team will Ray Dunn be calling play-by-play for? You're probably going to be long gone by then. You're not even going. Are you even going to be a Sixers fan by then, Ray?
Let's relax.
You're going to have that objective view. But I think it's going to be great, man. And I think they'll do things. And I think the people who have these fears, once they go through it and they do it, and this should help a lot of areas. But I don't know. I can't speak for the people who live down there and what their concerns are. But from somebody who's not living down there, it seems great. But I'm sure that they have valid concerns.
Let me ask you this question. Is it really that exciting to go to the Wells Fargo Center?
No, it's not.
I mean, it's not a bad arena. It's not like I look at all these other arenas that are on TV when I watch the NBA on TNT, and they're all spectacular looking, right?
Yeah.
Because they're all new and they're all glassied up and all this stuff. It's not that special. Well, so the Sixers are going to give you a special type of, this arena is going to be brand ultra state-of-the-art new. Right?
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
And it'll be cool. It'll be cool to be in that kind of a building, wouldn't it?
It will. It'll be cool. You go down there, you get there early, you can go out to a nice dinner before somewhere. I'm sure it's going to just be a great experience. I mean, look, I go back to, I know this is not really comparing apples to oranges, but Madison Square Garden is smack dab in the middle of Manhattan. I mean, it is right there.
That's different because you don't just drive in there. We're used to driving into an area that's convenient, and that's what people are used to. And see, the other thing about the dinner thing, people don't get out of work early enough to actually go down and have dinner prior to a game. They're starting a game at 7 o'clock. The dinner part of it is not going to be happening. You're going to have to get to the arena after work, and it's just going to be an arena experience. But the arena experience is what you're experiencing. You're probably not going to experience the let's go to dinner prior to a game because you'd have to go to dinner at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, but it's possible. I mean, I remember some of the research that the Sixers put out before was a lot of the Uber rides were coming from Center City down to Wells Fargo. So, I mean, if you work in the city and you get out of work at 4:30, go to a nice early dinner,
Yeah, but how many people work in the city that go to Sixers games? It's mostly you travel to go to Sixers
Well,
games.
that's
You go to South Jersey, you come to Bucks County, you go to all these other spots, and you congregate with your car to the spot.
But according to that Sixer, I don't have the exact data in front of me, but I remember that Sixers study that was done said there was a majority of Uber rides were coming from Center City down to the Wells Fargo Center. A lot of people would be leaving their job in the city to head to the game. Ray, do you remember that study that they were talking about?
I remember what you're referencing. I think it's kind of crazy if you are in Center City, you're taking the Uber there, given the pricing difference between taking the Broad Street line and taking an Uber. But that's my own personal experience as a guy that is Subway over everything pretty much when it comes to transportation.
And this should be good for public transportation, too. Aren't they going to invest money into improving all that and try to retrain people and how they get down there?
No, they're actually going to use the $7 that they charged Mikey Miss this week. That's what they're going to be able to invest into.
$7 each way.
Each way, $14 spot, $14 piece.
It's the first of the fun to make things better.
$7 trip, $70 steak, but only complains about the train ride.
3 stops, $14. 610-632-0975. You got an opinion on it? We'd like to hear from it. Everybody that is really nervous about the new thing and what they're going to have to change their lifestyle to get to a game. I don't know. I think we need to rearrange our thinking. It's a good thing. Mike Missanelli Show continues. 97.5 The Fanatic. Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, listen, this is not a day that I think people want to process the new arena. I like it. A lot of people don't like it. There were protesters today. I think it's going to be a good thing for the city. I think it's going to be a good thing for the Sixers. I wish it was sooner, but it's going to take a while to build that thing. So we're talking about a time where I don't know if I'll even be around, Bill, to be honest with you. We're talking, 8 years?
Oh, yeah.
I got 8 years left.
How many shows in will we be by then, Ray?
My dying wish. Let me walk into the new building, and then I can drop dead.
Jeez. Let's not go there.
Now, his dying wish
We'll
is
be ringing the bell for the opening night.
He wants to see another NBA champion.
I'll walk into the arena for the first time to see the Sixers, and Joel Embiid will be on load management.
In 8 years?
He's not ready for the season opener in the new arena.
Then they put a fourth star around him, right?
It's 50-year-old LeBron James.
Paul George is 47, and
I make a prediction. By the time the new arena opens in 8 years, where there'll be another championship banner hanging in the rafters.
Allen Iverson's kid, Deuce, will be the star player. All right. Enough frivolity. Let's go back to the phones with Sammy in New Jersey. What's up, Sammy?
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
Good, Sam. How you doing?
All right. I don't know if you noticed when they the Eagles played Pittsburgh, but every single play, Hurts was in the shotgun. He was not under center one time.
He doesn't
now,
like
that.
You can count it really on your one hand the times he's been under center this year. They just
Yeah,
don't. They
but I never saw a game where he never went under. Do you think that's
well, he
gonna be a
tush pushed,
problem
didn't he?
going forward?
Did he tush push in that game?
Yeah, he tush pushed a couple times.
He did that, yeah. Well, I guess you can.
Well, that's the only time he goes under center, really.
So it doesn't matter as far as the type of plays they call if he's always in the back there. In the
Yeah, he's
shotgun?
more comfortable in the shotgun. They're more like they. That's fine for him to be in the shotgun and throw those short passes. That's fine. He doesn't need to be under center.
All right. Okay. I was wondering if you had.
How many quarterbacks really go under center the majority of the time anymore?
No, but they all go under it. You know, they all go under it.
Very rarely, though. It gives them. I think that the timing is better. The quarterback feels better about his timing in the shotgun rather than the drop. As far as timing goes, because unless you're a veteran quarterback, you're more comfortable with that. But this new style quarterback, like Lamar Jackson, does go under center every now and then, but pretty much he's in the shotgun as well, right?
Yeah, true. All right, I just didn't know if you would thought it would be an issue, so I'm glad you don't.
Yeah, no, it's not an issue.
Man, what a good problem to have, though. We're like asking what are people's concerns, and it's he's not under center enough. I mean, there's really not much.
Yeah, that's
to be concerned about.
That's an old school football guy that would ask that question.
Well, a few weeks ago,
you used to see him quarterbacks under center with the drop. It's kind of been phased out.
But a few weeks ago, I don't remember what game it was. Jalen was under center more than he had been in previous games. I think whatever the game plan is that week, he's capable of doing it, especially when they try to run a heavy.
Is it not easier for a quarterback in the shotgun to read progressions? And he has had trouble with progressions in the past, but like with a 7-step drop, wouldn't he have more problems with surveying a field rather than standing back and processing it that way?
Yeah, in the passing game, straight passing game, no doubt. I think it's better for a quarterback in the shotgun. What people want when they go under center not only is with the run, but it's the play action. You can run a little bit play action better out of being under center. That's why you see San Francisco do it a lot. Kirk Cousins used to do it. Now he's benched. That's a whole disaster we haven't talked about either. My God.
Kirk Cousins?
It's done, man.
Pay me. What does he care?
Guy's made like $300-something million, won one playoff game.
It was a no risk for him. He's going to sit there, not get banged up now, and collect money.
But why did they sign him? You draft Penix.
They thought that he would be better than what he was, and that they would have the best of both worlds, where Penix, who wasn't really ready for the NFL, could learn. Well, it got cut short.
Yep, Penix gets his first start this weekend.
They're still in a playoff spot, right?
The Falcons got a shot.
They got a shot, so...
Yeah, they would have a shot. But here's the crazy thing. We know the New York Giants need a quarterback. They passed on Bo Nix, if I'm not mistaken, right? He was on the board when they drafted. If Penix comes out for the Falcons and now has a really good last 3 games, would that be the final nail in the coffin for Joe Shane, Brian Dable, that whole Giants organization? Because they just keep missing the boat with bad decision after bad decision. Because now they're going to have to draft a quarterback. Maybe they get Deion's son.
Is that the guy they want, or they want Cam Ward? I thought Cam Ward was the guy they're zeroed in on the Giants. Right?
Who knows? I don't even know if it's going to be the same personnel team in place. Does Joe Shane get fired after what he did this year?
They're going to take a quarterback, so it's got to be one of those two.
Curiosity for you, Bill. How many times a day do you think about Joe Shane's job security?
I do think about it a lot. Is that wrong?
Yeah.
No, it's not wrong. I'm just curious.
I haven't thought it. Yeah, I think Ray's making the point that why would you even care?
He just brings it up a lot. For a guy that's like not concerned about his job security, you seem very concerned about his job security.
Yeah. You know what I think it is all my college football teammates, the majority of them were Giants fans. I'm on a group chat, so we talk a lot, and the Giants are in the mix.
Yeah,
so I think that's why I'm so tied in.
I have blood relatives who are Giants fans that I talk to a good amount. And not even I'm that concerned about Joe Shane's job security. I'm just curious.
Well, these dudes from Gettysburg came from New York area?
It's crazy. A very few people at Gettysburg were from, like, this area. It was mostly New York, Maryland, a lot of kids from Maryland because we're real close to the border of Maryland. In fact, on Sundays, Pennsylvania wouldn't serve, you couldn't go to a liquor store on a Sunday. I don't know if it's still that law. So we would drive over the border to Maryland sometimes to pick it up. So we were close.
People from New England, too?
Yeah, big New England.
One of my best friends from high school went to Gettysburg. A lot of friends from New England area.
Yep, for sure. There's not many from down this area. I don't know why.
Gettysburg.
The way they say it there is Gettysburg.
When you got dropped off, who dropped you off? Somebody dropped you off? First day?
Yeah,
like your football. You had to report early for football, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when you get dropped off, and there you are. Oh, this is my residence for the next 4 years. I'm in remote, isolated Gettysburg, PA. How did you feel about that?
I was excited, man.
You were?
Well, I had gone up for my recruiting trip, and I spent the night in a fraternity house and going to parties. So I'm thinking, it's
Hell
yeah.
Oh, so for the parties. I'm talking
it's
about
going to be awesome, man.
Gettysburg in general. You're there. You are in Gettysburg. You're in this remote Gettysburg.
The campus is beautiful. So yeah, it's a beautiful campus. So you're on campus. I mean, you don't really think about the town. It's not that great of a town.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was just
the
excited.
campus is beautiful.
Beautiful campus. Man.
Well, I had never been to Gettysburg. I didn't realize it's beautiful.
So when I first got recruited for Gettysburg, I had never heard of it. I said to my high school coach, I said, "Hey, this college, Gettysburg College, is reaching out to me." He said, "Great football program, great school for education, hot girls and awesome parties." I said, "Sold."
So what happened to the great school for education?
Hell yeah.
It's a great education school. I think it's got a less acceptance rate than Penn State.
Apparently you didn't take advantage of it.
I went to law school, for God's sakes.
I'm just busting your chops. 610-632-0975. We're going to get to the text board. There's a lot of interesting texts, including Bill's wife chiming in.
Oh,
it's
boy.
not like
got the whole family
the
checking
YouTube
in.
chat is not enough. She's chiming in on the text board now.
First-time texter.
Yeah, first-time texter. We'll see what she had to say after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Repping for Washington, I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Popeyes. It's football season in Philly, so you got to have some grub. Popeyes says just the John for any fan of the birds. We're talking wings, baby. So fly to Popeyes, fly and fill up on wings in 7 delicious flavors. The Eagles are getting set for their second matchup with the Washington Commanders this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Last month, the Birds dispatched the Commanders 26-18 at Lincoln Financial Field. If they can grab another win over Washington, the Eagles will lock up another division title. Nick Sirianni told the media on Wednesday he's not yet talked about that one with the team.
No, I know we're pretty boring. We're getting ready to go play this game. We know that if we do win this game, that will happen, but all we can focus on is our preparation. We haven't really talked about that. You know, we'll talk about that after we're able to put the hat on or the T-shirt on there, so that's when we'll talk about that.
As a part of our preparation for the game, we had ESPN Commanders reporter John Keim on earlier on in the show. You can listen to that conversation back one more time at 97.5thefanatic.com. Elsewhere, Flyers lost 6-4 to the Red Wings the last night in Detroit. They're back at home tonight against Los Angeles Kings at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And today, City Council approved the main bill allowing the 76ers to build a new arena in Center City. It passed at a 12-5 vote. This update is also brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Macy's Backstage has amazing deals on the holidays' most fun gifts. Get low prices every day on unique finds in-store only at Macy's Backstage. Find a location near you at Macy'sBackstage.com. Off-price, on-trend, arriving daily. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, it's 1:31 on the Mike Missanelli Show as we come down to home stretch. Tomorrow, again, a reminder, joining me at 12 o'clock, Bill is headed to a lovely children's play for Christmas. So joining me from 12 to 2 tomorrow will be the one and only the second most famous Temple media grad. Now, let's rank them. It's John Clark, anyway.
Yeah.
Johnny Sunshine. Let's rank them. Hola! Hola will be here. Now, I was thinking of doing this for one of the hours. John Clark is a master Seinfeld expert. In fact, I was on a team with John that won a Seinfeld contest at a bar a few years ago. I'm thinking that maybe the people could try to stump us.
For Seinfeld.
For Seinfeld.
Yeah, because you can't do that game with me.
No,
since I've never watched
You've
it.
never seen it. But I bet you that no one can stump us.
I like that. Well, you know what, too, in some programming notes, because people are asking. Normally we do our NFL picks at 12:30.
Yeah, we'll do them early.
So we'll do them earlier. People were asking in the YouTube
We'll do them 11:30.
We'll do NFL picks tomorrow. 11.
Mine. I was 0 for 3 last week. How'd you do?
2-1.
There you go. You continue the streak.
Yeah, so we'll do NFL picks 11:30, and then you'll do Seinfeld trivia, one of the last 2 hours of the show.
All right,
and no Ray Dunn tomorrow.
No, Ray. Yeah, Ray is busy with other ventures. He's too big for us.
He's going to get some rice-a-roni tomorrow.
Oh, he's going to San Francisco.
He is. San Francisco.
Can't confirm the reports.
Covering something out there?
We had 2 games out there.
Temple men?
Women.
Temple women.
Mm.
They're sending you to San Francisco?
Yeah, I travel with them everywhere.
Damn.
Yeah, he's got the life.
What a perk that is.
He's got the life. We can't even park in our own parking lot here, and Ray's traveling to San Francisco
Have you ever
for
been
work.
to San Francisco?
Nope, first time.
You going to be hanging out in San Francisco?
I mean, I'll probably try and get out there and see a little bit of the town.
Well, you got tomorrow basically off, right?
Wow.
You're going to get in there late tonight, and then you don't have a game till Saturday. So
Correct.
you got to do some sightseeing tomorrow.
Get to Chinatown, man. The best Chinatown in America.
I'll tell you, their Little Italy's not bad either.
Pretty good. Not as good as their Chinatown.
Their Chinatown's awesome.
So let's the most famous Temple grads, since I brought it up. So you would have to go right now. The most famous Temple media grad, would it be Nagandi?
Probably on Sports Center.
I think so.
Yeah, Kevin Nagandi.
Would be would Zumoff be?
Still, he's retired now, though.
Yeah, but an all timer. We're talking about all.
Oh, okay, all timers.
Yeah.
All right, so Zumoff's up there.
Clark,
Johnny Clark.
who else? Ray?
Merle Reese.
That's right.
Oh, Merrill. I keep forgetting about
Reese
Merrill.
has to be like maybe right under Nagandi, and then Zumoff.
If we're talking national, yeah.
Yeah, and who else?
No, I say if you're talking nationally, yeah, that it would be Nagandi. I'm thinking locally here, Merle probably ain't.
Yeah, but Nagandi's like larger than life now as a national figure, so he would get the nod.
Right. Yeah.
And then Ray Dunn.
Ray Dunn's up
Ray
there.
Dunn would be 5th.
Probably not. Maybe at some point I'll crack a top 20.
All right. There's a lot of Temple grads out there. A lot of young Temple grads are in the industry now.
You know who else graduated?
Who's that?
John Oates from Hall & Oates.
He's not a media guy.
I know he's not.
He's a
but
rock star.
He
I know John Oates
graduated.
went there.
He graduated with a degree in journalism.
He did?
Yes.
He didn't pursue that.
Well, I'm on Temple's.
He could have been a sports talk radio host for all these years.
He could have.
He became like a worldwide record sales.
Man, he missed out, didn't he?
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah, but I'm on Klein College of Media and Communication. They're featured alumni, and they don't have Ray Dunn listed.
No.
It's a violation,
Right? He's not listed yet.
Yeah, I mean,
They got Breland Moore from Fox
That's
29.
right. Breland went to Temple.
Joby Warwick from the Washington Post is on here. Alicia Zafar. She's the program supervisor at The Late Show.
Wow.
Lexa
You know
Ross
her,
did
right?
a couple of sit-ins with you before. She's doing big out in Indianapolis right now.
Who's
Alexa
that?
Ross.
Oh, Alexa Ross, yeah. Local. Okay. All right. Let's get to the text board.
Yeah, what
Let's
did my
go.
wife have to
Text
say?
from Bill's wife.
Yeah. Bridget here, Bill's wife. He could have done the math. Baby doesn't care about Jalen, the Eagles, or playoffs, and she'll be here when she wants.
So she was upset that we were talking about
Yeah,
that?
it doesn't seem like she was too happy with
She had to weigh in.
the
Well, she did.
conversation.
She did text me during the segment of Mike saying, "Why couldn't I just keep it in the holster?" I got a text about that. Did Mike really say keep it in the holster? Lol. LOL, I should say. You get mad that I pronounced.
Yeah, I don't like when you pronounce that at all. It's very uncomfortable.
The timing of it, maybe, you could have kept it in the holster for a little bit.
Yeah.
Uncle Frank also wanted to weigh in on that situation.
Maybe use a Jimmy cap.
Uncle Frank, our Uncle Frank, not Bridget's Uncle Frank.
No, our Uncle Frank.
Our Uncle Frank.
Our Uncle Frank.
Because she also has an Uncle Frank.
Got it. Yeah, no, it's our Uncle Frank.
All right, our Uncle Frank.
Tell Bill not to worry. Big Dom will take his shock collar off his stepbrother Nick and assist with the birth to free up Sirianni for the game.
Man, see, there's somebody not fully trusting in Nick Sirianni.
Oh, so is he the incessant texter?
No.
We have an incessant.
We have a texter
we have a texter who's an incessant texter.
and I appreciate them wanting to chime in on the show. But you've sent the same text 3 times over the last 3 hours.
They want you to see it, right?
You read it.
I understand, but I feel like I'm rewarding behavior that's going to become a problem later.
Okay.
John from Downingtown. Bill, you're a numbers man. To dispel our first quarter scoring woes, 59 points given up by us averages to 4.2 a game. We score 20, averages to 1.4 a game. So average less than 3-point differential in first quarters. We've overcome that in the majority of games. I rest my case.
It's a good point, and I am usually a numbers guy, but the point that I'm trying to make when people say they're concerned about the first quarter scoring is, if you look at the averages, 3-0 wouldn't be something that you'd have to be concerned about. But if a team like the Packers or the Vikings or even the Lions get out to a 10-0 lead where first quarter scoring has been an issue, then that could be a concern. Remember, we're trying to be the voice of the people today. Concerns I've heard from others, not necessarily my concerns, but first quarter scoring could be an issue in the playoffs.
The theme of the day today was me saying, I don't have any concerns. I have 0 concerns. And I go, why would I invent a concern when there aren't any that exist right now? No concerns exist. Like, we're not even coming off a game where we go, oh, they couldn't pass, or this happened, or that happened. We're coming off a game where there's 0 concerns. So why would I create a concern? But I know in this Philadelphia fan base, there are people that have to create concern. So we asked people to call in today with your concern, and you make a logical argument and point on why that's your concern, and then I'll be the voice of reason, and I'll study it and go, yeah, that's not a concern. But here's what we've gotten so far. The Tampa Bay factor, which I'm stunned. That was the first one that came up. Oh, the big bad Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, they might have to run into them again.
That was one of the concerns that came up. There's another one when we talk about running into them again that we talked briefly about yesterday, because I got a list of 12 potential concerns I've heard from fans. And one that we didn't talk about was if they beat the Commanders this weekend, they'd have to beat them a 3rd time in the postseason. And yesterday we had people tell us that's an urban legend, urban myth.
Yeah.
Teams are 15-9 come playoff time, but I mean, it's still 9 losses against the team you beat twice in the regular season.
625 winning percentage. Would you say the percentage was in your favor, which is all you can study, the percentage? 625 percentage that you win.
Maybe, I'm telling you, maybe this is me being Negadelphia. I'm looking at that saying every single team that probably went into that playoff series who had swept the regular season series thought there's no chance we're losing this game. We've beat them twice already, and they lost 9 times. So I still think it's a real
not a
thing.
Good statistic for one reason. Were those teams that lost as complete as what the Eagles are now?
No, and look, it's not a fear I have because I think the Eagles are a head and shoulders better team than the Commanders are. I agree with you. You got a rookie quarterback on the other side. I think the Eagles' defense is much better. I don't think that the Commanders can stop the run very well. They're 24th in the league against the run, which plays right into what the Philadelphia Eagles can do. So I'm not worried about it. But this is what others have said are potential concerns.
All right, the other list of concerns here. On the heels of the Tampa Bay factor is Jalen Hurts versus Todd Bowles. That somehow Todd Bowles is going to be able to figure out Jalen Hurts again and completely limit his effectiveness. And to my counterpoint to that is, well, how's he going to limit Saquon Barkley's effectiveness?
Yeah, because if they try to blitz him like crazy, which they've done in the past, do the Eagles just run right at the blitz and dominate?
Now, here's the beauty factor, which we have not gotten any support for, which I think is very telling. The Sirianni factor, that he's somehow going to mess something up.
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
And prevent the Eagles from actually getting to the Super Bowl. We haven't heard any of that today. You brought that one up.
I did because I thought fans would. You know what this means to me? I have finally convinced our fan base that I have been right all along about this man. that Nick Sirianni truly is as good of a coach as his record would reflect, because all the guy does is win. I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. We're not going to sing it today, Ray, but we'll play it in the background.
I think
little foreshadowing.
I think they haven't brought it up because they don't want to hear you gloat. That's why they haven't brought it up today.
I don't gloat.
They still really, deep inside, don't trust.
Just know that I was right. It's not gloating. It's just reality.
All right, here's the other one. Jalen Carter. This is another Bill thing, Mr. Negadelphia. Jalen Carter will be worn out. He's played too many snaps. Suddenly, he's going to hit some kind of a wall, which he has not shown any indication to hit a wall.
No, he hasn't. And this is why just put all these fears to rest and get that 1 seed. Because if they get the bye the first round of the playoffs, I'm not worried about any of these guys hitting the wall. But it's not just Jalen Carter. You look at the edge rushers as well. They're very light at that position. Bryce Huff's coming back this week. Well, they opened up his practice window. We don't know if he'll play on Sunday, but he's eligible. He hasn't given you much. You do worry a little, Mike. You got to worry a little that this team could start to hit a wall down the stretch with the amount of reps a lot of these defensive linemen are playing. You still aren't worried. He's got no concern. You can't see him on the radio. I could see him. He is as carefree as anyone I've seen.
The guy's been like Superman. For me to believe, it's like, well, you got to worry about Superman and that fourth orbit around the Earth. It's not going to happen. He's done 3 strong, but that fourth one could be a problem. Yeah. I mean, Ray, do we have a problem with Jalen Carter? Are you worried about his snaps right now? Is that a concern?
I would say no.
Good one, Ray.
See, number 5's not even worried.
Number 5 will always love you.
About that. All right, here's the other one.
Number 5 will always love you.
Lack of score.
I'm embarrassed.
Remember that day he did that? I'm going, what?
Yeah, it wasn't a great.
Number 5 will always love you.
But you know what? That halftime speech, it was at halftime he did that, right? I mean, that halftime speech kind of encompassed how he was his whole career, though. Yeah, he was just like a cheesy, corny guy that never connected.
Yeah. Okay, number 5 will always love you. Lack of scoring in the first quarter, which we've kind of dispelled because that texter dispelled it, right? The YouTube chatter.
Now, the ones you haven't mentioned, that I brought it up earlier, and you dismissed these.
For the third time.
No,
what else? What else?
You keep saying Tampa. Ray and I are both on record that the team that scares us the most in the NFC, it's not Tampa, it's not Minnesota, it's not Detroit, it would be the Green Bay Packers. That would be the team that I'd have the most concerns about matching up with in the playoffs. You already played them once. Not it was a big deal. 2 different teams when it's the first week of the season. But they have a good quarterback, a very good defense, a very good head coach in Matt LaFleur. That's the team that I would say could give the Eagles a run for their money in the NFC. I'd pick the Eagles over them, but that's the team I'd be worried about.
Are the Packers as good as the Eagles right now?
No, they're not.
Would the Packers be as good as the Eagles playing them here, which that would be the game?
It would definitely be here. You're right. They're not going to have to go to Lambeau.
Right.
They would come here.
Right.
The Eagles would be favorites. And I would pick the Eagles to win that game. I'm just saying, if we are looking for concerns, that would be the team I have my biggest concern.
Nobody was looking. You just created the concern. Nobody was looking for it. Like you found it in the woods.
Well, we can't just ignore the fact that they'd have to win 2, maybe 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. And if I'm saying the one opponent I'd like to avoid is the Packers. And Ray, you agree with that?
I do. That would be the one that, of all the teams right now, that's one I'd say, hey, someone else take care of them. Yeah, someone else knock them out.
I'm just stunned by you two.
And look, in the YouTube chat,
I really am.
Bewildered is agreeing, saying, yeah, and the Pack can run the football. They can. They got Josh Jacobs. They're a good team. The Packers are a good football team. Not as good as the Eagles, though, to your point.
They're Walmart Eagles. Signed a running back in the offseason.
Not Walmart. Maybe Target.
You really? That's how you say Target.
No, it was a joke.
No. I feel like there's a little bit of truth to that.
All right.
Hold on. People are asking in the YouTube chat. Yes, to reiterate, NFL picks will be 11:30 tomorrow.
Okay.
They're asking in the chat. People really they're jonesing for it. Yeah.
I don't have any college picks. Oh, yes, I do.
You have a good one. I know where you're going, too. That's a big tease for tomorrow. Not that Mike song, Ray.
I'm not going to pick that game because I don't want to jinx them. But all you Notre Dame fans, get ready for something tomorrow.
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
It is time for closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
You know, I'm like Johnny Sack in Sopranos. I'm a pragmatist at heart. And what a pragmatist does is look at the data in front of him and doesn't refute the data, which is irrefutable or unrefutable or irrefutable, whatever the proper word is. And I look at this Eagles team, and what I do is I respect good in this town. When an organization puts together something that I know is good, when an organization maximizes your team to a championship level, I don't try to throw little wrenches in there to mess it all up. I am the opposite of a Negadelphian. I appreciate good. I respect good. I don't respect crossing the fingers. The Eagles are not a crossing the fingers team right now. They are certifiably the best team in the NFC, which means I don't worry until they lose somewhere down the line. And I don't even know if that happens in the Super Bowl. But it's certainly not going to happen before the Super Bowl. And I'm not going to invent reasons to worry about a really good team because that would mean I don't respect that really good team.
And even though I've listed some things that I've heard from fans and concerns that other fans have, Mike, I'm with you on this. The Eagles are, in my opinion, by far the best team in the NFC. There should be no reason why we're not preparing for a game in New Orleans. Now, anything can happen, as you know, in the NFL, but I'm with you. They are the better team, and I think all of these concerns that we've listed today are not real concerns. More just
so in other words,
things
you just
to discuss.
Never mind.
Yeah, it is. And look, that's what I said. I was trying to be the voice of the people. I think that a majority of these concerns you could put aside, but I'm not going to ignore that there's some other good teams in the NFC, but the Eagles are better.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening and playing along with us today. Tomorrow, Bill will be in for the first couple hours, and Johnny Clark will join me. Hola! We'll be here at 12 o'clock. Everybody have a great rest of the evening. Talk to you tomorrow.